Greetings, Starfinders. How nice to have you back. Hope you've all... Welcome back to the Secret Lab. My name's Jovan Fox. And, yeah, a very merry midwinter festival to you and yours. And a happy Orbital Path completion anniversary also. Hope you've all had a nice break. But that's over now. Life has returned, for better or worse. So, before we all go back to work and, you know, now we can't play with our toys anymore and we have to act like human beings again, let's start the year as we mean to go on, eh? And by that I mean, let's have a few hours of escapism and sci-fi hijinks with myself and the lovely cast of Starfinder: The Drift Awakens. So yeah, without further ado, let's run the credits. And then we'll meet up with the team, where they are still unpicking a complex web of mystery on the remote ice moon and mining outpost of Cryonis 3. So, let's do that then, shall we? Yes, let's do that. And we're in. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Did everybody have a good Crimble?
Yeah.
Yeah, just really glad to be back to the crushing grind.
What, of this game, or of work?
Back to reality, back to routine, back to not eating everything in sight.
Oh, yeah.
And not having a functioning sleeping pattern and waking up at 4 a.m. and going to sleep at 7 a.m.
Yes.
I mean, wait, waking up at 4 p.m. and going to sleep at 7 a.m.
There we go. Okay.
Wow, yeah.
I know what times are.
Well, I have to apologise, folks. I have some pretty nasty lurgy. So if I'm coughing and spluttering through tonight's stream, I apologise to you and the audience. There's not a lot I can do about it, apart from suck on a honey and lemon flavour lozenge and a warm cup of tea, and in a moment, a Duvel Blonde, courtesy of the old Christmas bags. So,
soothers and beer, the only cure for a dodgy throat.
Breakfast
and redeem for Javen Fox to pop a soother.
No, because I'll end up like, I don't know what ODing on lozenges would do.
I will spend
Not
all
much.
of my credits
sister-
to find out.
My sister used to eat them like fucking sweets when we were younger.
Yeah, but
Bradley does, he's terrible.
So she loved soothers so much.
Aren't they laxatives as well? There you go.
Grim.
I once did a load of
grim.
washing
I
with
used
some
to-
blackcurrant and honey soothers in a pocket, and
Oh,
my
no.
clothes smelled amazing
That's
for about
it.
3 weeks.
But don't they like stick?
Wouldn't it be sticky
That's-
though?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Like a
I'm
pick out a
generally
wad.
sticky anyway, so it's just a bit tacky.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
just
I-
stick things
Yeah,
together.
stickier
and it's
than normal.
impossible
I-
to
It's got
get
the
them
complexion of
apart.
a cinema floor.
I used to really like the menthol and eucalyptus lockets
Mm.
because they would just blast my sinuses clear.
Oh.
They were great. Same with the
They're
like
really
black
strong.
airwaves. Yeah, the black airwaves as well. Just clean it the fuck out.
Well, folks,
I remember those.
seasonally suitably, we find ourselves back on Cryonis 3, remote icy mining moon, where our intrepid adventurers have been sent by their mysterious benefactor, Aldous Callahan, to go and investigate what's going on down there. He lost contact with his scientist on the inside. They've arrived on planet. They've touched down. They've investigated the comms tower and the settlement. And so far, it appears that the comms have been purposefully shut down on the orders of the mining colony's administrator, one Nix Mazerata, due to security concerns. Mining operations have been facing a big increase in arachnoid presence, the local wildlife here on Cryonis 3, and in the interest of health and safety, the mines have been temporarily closed, and our group have discovered that Mr. Mazerata has brought in some external contractors, a band of hunters, freelancers, mercenaries, whatever you want to call them, to try and clear up this infestation problem with the hope of resuming mining operations. The group have met the administrator. They also popped to the local bar, run by a lady called Osha Rains, to get a little bit of info. And from Osha, they discovered that their contact, one Dr. Ubel Helsig, is missing and has been for some time, presumed dead. But they did find out the location of his residence. They went, investigated, and uncovered a good little stash of notebooks, personal logs, and the location of Dr. Helsig's lab out on the plains of Cryonis 3. I say the plains because currently we are nestled in the foothills of the Horseshoe Mountains that loom thousands of feet over the settlement. Really quite the sight to behold, the Horseshoe Mountains. Really quite an interesting geological feature. And that's pretty much, I think that pretty much catches us up so far. So, at the end of the last episode, they just searched Dr. Helsig's residence. It was late at night, so it was the last thing they did before bunking down in the 3 prefab housing units that make up most of the settlement here in Cryonis 3. So they've had a night and most of today to pursue their own lines of research, trying to get a bit of a handle on what's going on here. In between last episode and today, I have sent every party member a little data packet containing more information about what they've managed to find in their respective speciali, which is the plural of specialisms, right? And so they've had chance to
Why not?
peruse those notes, but they've not had really chance to discuss them. They've been pursuing their own independent lines of inquiry, so this is the first chance they've had to kind of meet back up. It's kind of late afternoon here on Cryonis 3, and that is where we're going to pick up this week, for what I can only presume will be a little bit of findings sharing between the group. So with that, I am going to hand it over to the party, and take it away, my friends.
Okay, so riffling frantically through Helsig's notes for most of the night, Blaz has discovered that these spidery beasties are traditionally more found at higher altitudes than down on the plains, down in the mining operation guts, and that for them to be down here is not typical behavior. So it's going to convey that to the group and finish off by saying, summit up at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, I mean, could they have been brought down deliberately?
Let's go find out. This is Blaz's suggestion.
So
Wow.
Ormanganda has a tactical map of the local area, which gives various bits of information and also shows where most of the activity's been. And I think it's primarily, so there's 3 mines which all lie to the west of the main settlement, Gamma, Delta, and Epsilon. And I think most of the activity's been in Gamma and Delta. Is that right, Jay?
Gamma and Epsilon, the north to the northwest and the southwest.
Sorry, okay. Now, there's also trunk lines that run between these and all the other settlements. So is it... That would make sense in a way, what Bilaz has just said, because... So, to the east, we have the Horseshoe Mountains, which are high altitude, right? But then to the north and south, it's lowlands, it's not, the altitude isn't as high. So if they were somehow coming through the mountain ranges, those are the 2 mines that they'd hit, yeah? The question is why and how they're getting there. When you guys encountered it, how big are these things? Like, how large are they?
Helsig's research indicates there are different types. So there are
Oh, okay.
there are small workers of like 2 to 3 feet long, and then there are the bigger worker forms at 5 to 6 feet, and then much rarer warrior forms, which are significantly bigger. Some of them can produce acid or webbing and various different subspecies requirements.
How big?
Gross.
So the biggest mentioned, gross, she says. The biggest mentioned in Helsig's notes is 8 to 12 feet in size, but he suspects the existence of a further subspecies somewhere deep in the arachnoid nests.
I see. Well, I mean,
Sorry,
I
there's
think the
Dune
first
vibes
3
going
should
on
be
here.
okay. The first 3 should be okay. You know, me and Norman, we're pretty big. You guys are, you know, quite tall. I feel like we've got a decently big group. These bugs should be okay. They should be nothing, really.
Have we seen any...
Did anyone else
I'm
catch that
not
look?
convinced.
Have
Not
we seen-
convinced.
Have we seen any arachnoid movement to the north or south or east of the settlement, or has it all been to the west? Because you guys encountered one by the comms tower, which is to
Yes.
the west. So we have. So they've been all around the settlement. They've been seen, have they?
No, we encountered the one at the comms tower that you're
So
referencing.
that's to the west, but the high altitude is directly to the east, the highest peaks, which is the kind of terrain they'd usually favour. I'm just wondering, when we were doing our own little bits of research and looking around, have we seen any evidence of them operating to either the east or south or north of the settlement, or have we only seen them in the west, near the mines? That's the point. Because I don't know what data packets you guys have got. I haven't got anything to do with that. I've just got sort of a tactical map of the actual environment and where things are located.
Data
They could be
packet.
migrating.
Yeah,
That's
from
a good
Jay.
point.
So, sorry, I missed that.
They could be migrating.
There's nothing about that in Helsig's notes.
So,
The data packet I got doesn't really talk much about the arachnoids, but
Mine neither.
say that there's a secret lab that no one really knows about. That
Secret lab.
yeah.
well, that's. I suggest that's kind of where we need to go then.
It doesn't say. It doesn't say anything about where it is.
Just that it exists.
Yeah, it's away from the rest of the settlement because he wanted a place to deal with sensitive evidence collection, whatever.
More sensitive
Away
than
from
this
fucking eyes.
stuff that we've just found.
Oh, great.
Apparently so.
Oh, great. So
I
an
haven't seen the
arachnid,
indication
an
of
arachnid
where-
black site is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I wonder if this could be linked to why all of a sudden all of these beasties are not where they should be and are now on the other side of the settlement in the west on the plains.
I suppose they have a queen, right? Surely.
Yes,
It is
according
possible
to
think
that they
so.
were.
Helsig's
deterred.
notes, they are matriarchal in nature.
So there's
Like
there's
bees.
probably one controlling them
Yes.
all.
But way worse than bees.
Yes. Did the notes mention whether all of the spiders are hostile?
Nope.
Because he
They
talks
are-
about 3 different types. So
They are not typically aggressive unless threatened or if their territory is threatened.
okay.
Do they have any way of sensing electromagnetic or gravitational forces?
That is not included in Helsig's notes, although I imagine they've got some kind of sensory perception of gravity, otherwise they just kind of
Well,
blob.
yeah, but anything other than the normal gravity of the planet.
No, that's not mentioned.
You said they used to be up the mountain, right?
Yeah,
and
they
come down.
they
So,
traditionally exist at higher
What
altitudes.
if maybe we looked up the mountain to see if that's where he made this secret lab, and if maybe whatever he was doing in there scared them down here, or
What do they-
some way deterred them?
What do they feed on?
I should jump in at this point because it has been a few weeks. You did actually, with your very diligent searching of his residence, you did manage to discover, and it was concealed, but you did manage to find a set of coordinates to his lab. So you know where it is. You have coordinates to it, and I can
Who
tell.
found that?
I can tell you that it is out. You did, I think, when you were searching
Did I?
searching his place. Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. You passed it on to me and it fell down the side of the sofa. Got it now. There you go. Have it back.
The spiders, just because someone asks, consume the minerals. So they are mineral feeders.
Okay.
Is that what they're going in the mines for?
Maybe they're coming to protect their food.
So it's traditionally been that they've kept to their high, craggy, cavey places, mining the high mineral seams.
Or maybe
kind of-
they've run out of food up there.
Maybe.
I'm just going to show you, because this is something that I'm sure Ormanganda would have cobbled together from what he's managed to pull from various topographical maps. Because it's easier for me to do this, Sam, I'm just going to...
Yeah, no bother.
Now, I don't want anybody to be too blown away by the high production value of this stream. So everybody just hang on to your hats, because we are obviously cutting-edge technology around here. It is, after all, a secret lab. This is effectively what Ormanganda has sketched out for you guys, so you might find this useful. Okay? So this is... let me see if I can get that in front.
I've got my own.
Oh, wow. That's, yeah.
That's
So this is effectively the layout of the mining outpost. Does everybody can everybody see everything on that?
Yeah.
Does that kind of make sense?
I have screenshotted it.
Blaz's eyes pop out of his head and kind of maximum zoom onto that super detailed topographical map.
Yeah.
Click.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully that has been internalised and is helpful to you in terms of feeling out the lay of the land.
I did draw my own when you were describing it to me.
How close did we get? How close did you get?
Well, they're pretty similar. Like I said, I mean, yours is like more. I don't know if you can see that, because mine's got loads of notes as well from your package, but yeah, not too different.
Not bad, not bad. Right, I'll bring you back to Cass now. There we go. Shoop. Okay.
What I was going to ask as well, is there are trunk lines connecting all the major sites, so including the settlement. These trunk lines, what form do they take? I mean, I'm basically asking whether or not the bugs would be able to use those as thoroughfares, or if they're just filled with power cables.
Essentially, they are large bunched looms of industrial cabling,
Okay.
running,
So they wouldn't be able to transfer.
running power and data lines back and forth between the main sites here and the outpost. So they're not ducts or tunnels in that sense. They are bundled fiber lines and things like that.
I just wanted to make
Pretty
sure
chunky.
we didn't have an LV426 kind of situation.
They've been using the passageway to. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really need to set up
So-
an Aliens reference counter on this stream because I'm sure I can get at least 12 in a stream.
So if I found the coordinates last time, which I completely forgotten about, I
It's
also
okay.
apparently didn't write that down. Clara is just gonna hand that to Ormagander and say, where does that look like it fits on your map?
Yeah, where does it look like it fits?
So it's out past the Delta mine. So if you head out pretty much straight west, slightly like sort of, was it west southwest, just beyond the kind of the loop of mines, probably another.
Huh.
So between Delta and Epsilon, would you say?
Yeah, like and you're heading out past the kind of the mining ring.
So maybe. Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
I was just going to ask how many miles out of the settlement.
Well, we established that it was about an hour on foot from the landing pads to the settlement, correct? There and
Big
thereabouts.
Blizzard feet, yeah.
And then we established it was also about an hour again from the landing pads to the comms tower on foot.
Mm-hmm.
So they're about equidistant. And then you're probably talking at least another half an hour, 45 minutes. I mean, on foot, probably more like 45 minutes if you're using the roads, to the Delta mine from the comms tower. So you're looking between an hour and a half and 2 hours at a...
Can we not just use the ship to get there?
So
We could use the mule.
if his lab, if that is what these coordinates lead to, if that's his lab, if that's in the same direction as to where the arachnoids have moved to, maybe whatever he's doing is attracting them instead of repelling them. I really hope he's not experimenting on their queen, because that would be super cruel.
I mean, that'd be weird, though, because if that's attracting them and it's between Delta and Epsilon, it would be strange that the two mines that have seen the most... I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but then you'd expect Delta and Epsilon to be the two mines that would see the most activity rather than Gamma and Epsilon, right?
There's only one way to find out.
Sorry, it's
Yeah.
not... Is it? It's called the arse, isn't it? That's what...
the
that's
ass,
what-
yeah, the ass.
The ass, yeah. No, just...
Oh yeah,
Is the all-purpose ATV that Clem and Yala have so kindly lent you.
Okay, we need to take the ass then. Who's
Do you
going?
think?
Because
Do you think
can't all
that
fit in,
some?
can we?
Do you think they would supply us with like a trailer or something we could drag from the back of it so that two people don't have to walk? Because that only fits 3 people on it.
Do they have skis?
They might have skis, or at least something you could
Rocket
fashion into
skis.
skis.
I would suggest maybe that some of us stay in the colony. I spent some time kind of lurking around and found out a little bit more about a few people. I also found out that the colony walls have gun turrets on them. They're equally spaced, so each wall's to the northwest. I wrote it down somewhere, but they're all kind of equidistantly spaced. They are 360 degree range, and they're about the same capacity as the ones on the ship. But I couldn't find out any more technical info on that. What I did find was that they are controlled from the gunnery room in the admin office. So it might be a good idea in case we have, a herd of spiders, swarm, better than herd, a herd of spiders
It works.
kind of descend upon the colony. It might be a good idea to find out some more info about that.
They've been attacking the settlement though.
Well, even just to
You
make
never
sure that
know.
we've still got a warm welcome when we get back from wherever.
Yeah.
Also, we don't know what we're going to find that way. Maybe we might accidentally aggravate them.
We
And
might
then
have
they
to
might
make a hot exit.
stampede towards the.
We need to know more about the hunters as well. I think we need to ask some questions. Maybe the administrator, head of security potentially. I mean, he seemed really unhappy about them being here.
That guy's a dick, though.
He is a dick.
Yeah, but he seemed to listen to you.
He's an
Didn't he?
angry
Okay.
dick.
Didn't you say he? Well, not necessarily listen to you, but he seemed. Didn't you say he?
I think we intimidated him.
To your intimidation.
I mean,
Yeah, we did.
I think
Saw in tag team intimidation.
we could have him under control a little bit, but you know, he seems like he might just do anything to save himself.
Yeah, self-interested.
Ellie,
Oh.
are there gates on the settlement as well? Can the walls be sealed, or are the gates just permanently open? That's another thing to ask, I suppose.
I am not sure actually. I didn't inspect the gates. I'd have to have a look.
Very Starship Troopers vibes.
I assume so because they'd want to protect it as a colony. So if they've gone to the trouble of putting gun turrets on all 4 walls,
I mean, me and Ormangana climbed over the walls to get in, so we have no idea where the gates are or what they even look like.
Yeah, we were too busy being really cool ninja-esque. Well, one of us.
It was pretty cool.
that went so well.
Get a core bump in.
Club up.
Elegance at its finest.
We scaled the walls very skillfully. Then things did go a little bit south.
Yeah,
But, you know.
Collectively,
Oh,
then,
boy.
should we all go and see head of security guy, or should we break up now and some guys can head off on the ass to the secret lab coordinates, and
Well-
a couple of us can stay here and try and gain
Before-
control of the security situation?
Before we do anything, I'm gonna blow your freaking minds and give you a little bit of a history lesson on what this planet is and how it was formed.
Cryonis 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So basically, long ass time ago, like, several thousands of years ago, the planet, the moon, had some crazy gravitational electromagnetic forces, and all the minerals that these mines are mining up basically got liquefied and were pulled into the magnetic field line, and they started breaking out of the surface and sort of arcing up and creating massive structures of liquefied minerals, and then they solidified and sort of came crashing down, and they formed the big ass mountains over there that these things live on and are basically feeding off of. If that's what they eat, then I guess that's why they lived there. Yeah, so the xenogeologists that came with the mining co-op predicted that this would happen again in around 200 years, but it seems for some reason their calculations were off, and they might not be so right as they thought they were, so that may have something to do with this.
You mean we're overdue for this planet to blow up or something, basically?
Could be that rocks and metal start crashing out of the ground in hot liquid form, and destroy us all.
Great.
That would really
Well,
suck.
that's probably the thing we should have led with.
Yeah, so if we might want to do our shit and get the fuck out of here before that happens.
Agreed. I think we should split up quicker.
That's fine
I
with me.
say we take off and nuke the whole site from orbit.
It's the only way to be sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
The only way to
yeah.
be sure.
I wanted to make that joke.
There's plenty more fish in the sea when it comes to aliens references. Well, as you guys are settling on a plan of action, it sounds like you're circling around a kind of an itinerary for the group.
I'm gonna hit the secret lab.
Yeah, I want to
same.
go to the lab.
You hear a... I don't want to say klaxon. 'Cause it's more like an alarm. It's not an alarm, but you hear a tone being emitted across the settlement, and there is a sort of like a chiming being sent out over the horn PA that's dotted around the settlement, and you sense movement and something going on outside. As I presume, because this conversation has been taking place in one of your residences. We won't get into whose. I don't know what you guys have been doing sleeping arrangements wise, who's paired off, whatever. But whatever, you're
I thought we were all together. Are we not all in the same cabin?
you're all in the same cabin right now to have this
Except
conversation. Yes, but like last night you had to crash. I don't know who roomed with who. But yeah, you're in one of your residences, and yeah, you hear this kind of. And yeah, there is
That doesn't
movement.
sound good.
There is movement outside.
I look out the window.
No windows.
No windows. Oh,
These are
this is-
essentially almost like shipping containers, that space-age shipping containers that are converted for.
Someone with a
living in.
smaller head should poke their head up the door.
That's not me.
No, I have ears and big hair.
But you're
Why
white.
do we-
You blend in with the scenery. It's
Why
all
don't we all
slow and
just-
nice here.
Why don't we all just head
Your
outside?
eyes like zoom into things.
Clearly, there's shit going off. Let's just all head outside.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
just charge out.
Blaz,
Let's just-
Blaz kicks the door open and charges out.
I follow.
just screaming.
As you head outside, you are greeted by the sight of a lot of movement, a lot of people. It's actually the first time you've seen this many people since you've been here. It's pretty quiet in the settlement since the mining operations have been shut down. Everybody's just kind of sticking to their residences, making trips to the canteen, general stores. But you know, it's been people just keep themselves to themselves. But this town has brought them all out of their residences, and people are filing their way over to the sort of the meeting space in the main administration offices at the centre of the settlement. There appears to be a gathering of sorts, and yeah, everybody's out, heading to
Sounds
the
like
administration
a-
offices.
An announcement to be made. I wonder what it could be.
Go with the flow. See what the crack is.
Maybe
Would it be
they're...
possible with everybody at this meeting in the administration building? Would it be possible for someone to sneak away and find the gunnery controls for the
Ooh,
turrets?
nice.
I feel like probably that would be a thing you could do.
You could just nip there and nip back.
Blaz can do that.
Get like a passcode, you know, get some remote access.
Yeah. Blaz, you'd be better at it in fairness because you have good technical knowledge and I don't.
Well, maybe you should both.
Pretty good on
because
pretty good on the
you-
sneak as well.
Yeah, because you're both sneaky, and you know, then you've got backup.
And then
you
no
shouldn't
one's
go on your
alone.
own. Yeah.
Let's both go for it because, yeah, higher chance of actually being able to do it.
Fist
I
bump.
love you, bro, but I don't feel that we should send Face on this mission. I feel
Yeah,
like
no.
stealth is not his strong point.
I mean, I think we did pretty well sneaking into the settlement, but you know, it's...
Yeah, no more sneaking.
Okay. So as you guys slide over to the administration building, you're going through a large set of bulkhead doors. There's a bit of a hallway, a bit of a corridor that sort of separates the bulkhead doors from the main meeting hall, I suppose you'd call it. And the corridors to your left and right lead into the rest of this small complex. It's the biggest single building, albeit prefabbed out of more of these kind of shipping containers. It's very modular design. The whole place is pretty much just a ship it in, plug it together, and away you go kind of affair. But there is a corridor leading off to your left and right that leads into the rest of the building, and dead ahead are another set of bulkhead doors leading into the main meeting space, and that is where the population of the Cryonis 3 settlement are headed. So am I going to take it that Blaz and she are going to slip away from the group at this point?
Yep.
Okay. Can you please both give me a check? And that is going to be a stealth check.
Oh, natural 20.
Hey, let's
Nice.
go.
I
First
got
roll of the
27.
Which is actually higher than my natural 20 score.
In the midst of all this movement, it's quite remarkable how well you guys just melt out of the group, and even some of your own party, as they turn to kind of go, oh, okay, and as a kind of like, good luck, they like turn around and you're just gone. It's like, where the fuck?
Fade dramatically into the snowscape.
Yeah, you just melt away down the corridor.
They
And despite
Yeah, we are good
the
at this.
Homer walking backwards into a hedge, just
And despite how many eyes, how many people are around, not a soul sees you slink down the corridor. Pretty impressive. The rest of you, though, make your way into the meeting hall. It's a pretty utilitarian affair. It has a kind of sports hall-y vibe. It's really just a room big enough to gather the 100 or so colonists in one place. Off to the sides, there are smaller little breakout rooms. It's very much a multi-function space that can be taken over for social events, meetings, sometimes even a little bit of indoor sports and activities. Anything anything that they need a bit of room for, but needs to be protected from the elements. That's what this room is. Almost as a kind of a social club, church hall-y kind of vibe. And people are filing in. There's been some chairs laid out. Some people sit, many others stand, and you finally get to see the gathered population of Cryonis 3. Largely human, although there are other races mixed in, but they are in the minority. It's tough work gear, dungarees, kind of Arctic thermals. It's very much a blue collar town. People are. Nobody seems alarmed. This is not an unusual occurrence. Clearly, this is kind of part of the pattern of life here on Cryonis 3. And they begin to gather. At the front of the room, you see Nix Mazerata at a small table on a raised dais at one end, and he is flanked by a couple of other administrative staff, and the sort of slightly the small sheepish form of his main assistant, they're just taking a moment to let everybody take a seat, file in, gather, before they call whatever this meeting is to order. Are you guys what are you guys doing? Are you tell me what you're up to at this point.
I'm lurking.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. I think we're just gonna lurk.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Ormungandr finds a wall, leans back against it, and folds his arms. Drops his
I
head to one
produce-
side.
That's exactly what I had in my head for Clara as well.
I
Different corner.
I produced the stick from a lizard on a stick and started using it like a toothpick.
Nice.
okay. Although I will say you are running out of lizards on sticks. You can. There are only so many more you can produce from whatever pouch it is you keep producing them from.
We can have maybe later on we can have a little Black Hawk Down moment where he's just like Randy changing bag.
Okay. As the influx of people starts to die down, so does the chatter. and it gradually just brings itself pretty much to order. And Nix Mazerata finally stands up and addresses the gathered crowd. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us so promptly. This is Rumour Control.
Boo.
We have, as you are aware, enlisted the services of some external support to help us deal with the recent infestation of the mines. There's a little bit of a ripple around the room. Now, I understand your frustrations at not being able to work. These are frustrations that you must understand. The mining collective shares, and we are doing our utmost to address this problem as promptly and as efficiently as possible. You may also notice that we have some newcomers with us here today. The entire room, there's a little murmur and a shuffling as the entire room turns around to look at the party. Some
I do finger guns.
Some of them
I just silently nod.
Ormungandr exhales a plume of smoke from his cigar and does the Top Gun Iceman.
Now, as some of you may have been made aware, these are representatives of one of our shareholders here to check our progress with the arachnoid situation. They are to be given every courtesy as interested parties. However, I would ask that you remember your roles within the organization, and if you have any questions or concerns, please bring them directly to me, or of course my assistants, and they will be dealt with in short order. For now, they will be joining us. They have taken over a few of the unused residences on the corner of town, and I would expect will not be staying with us for very long. However, I have had a report from the contractors who are dealing with the arachnoids that they seem to be coming across more of the arachnoid species than they had originally anticipated. So I'm afraid to say that the timeline for the de-infestation of the mines has been slightly extended from our initial estimates. At this point, there's a bit of a rumbling around the room, just a sense of, a bit of frustration, but kind of what you're going to do is the vibe of the room at this point. Now, I understand that you have been very patient so far, and I and the rest of the administration team are incredibly grateful, and I would only ask that you continue with your remarkable levels of patience while this situation is resolved. I am also in a position to inform you that your pay will remain at 100% of your current contracts. I'm afraid that productivity bonuses cannot be paid until mining operations resume, but in the meantime, please do make use of the stores and the amenities, and we will keep you updated. Does anybody have any questions? There are no questions. Marvelous. Well, thank you for your attendance and your continued patience and understanding, and I assure you this will be resolved in short order. That is all. And he...
Guys, I think we should go talk to Nix. Can we follow him? can I want to follow him and get him alone.
So he's making his way back up towards the offices on the far side of the room from you at the moment.
Okay. Guys, I think we should go talk to him. I don't think he should have told the settlement, the whole population of the settlement, that there's more monsters than they thought there were. That seems a bit panic-inducing to me. But yeah, I think we need to go talk to this guy before we leave.
Okay, what's your plan?
Well, I think we need him to tell us where his hunters are.
Good idea.
I think I know where they are. I've got it on the tactical map. Sorry, guys, I should have shared that with you. So their hunting camp is between. It's beyond the landing field where the Rusty Mustang is, but it's between the Delta and Gamma Mines. So it's north. Northwest,
right in the middle of where
northwest.
all the
Yeah,
action
in between.
is.
Yeah,
Okay, well, we should at least get him to tell
we can
us
get.
how
We can avoid that. We can avoid that if we're going to the secret lab because we can split off before we're traveling down that road. If we
Yeah.
want to avoid, if we want to avoid tangling with Dex Griffin, but if you want to just go and deal
I
with
think
Dex
we
Griffin
should-
now, we can.
I think we should at least get contact information for them from Nyx,
Yeah,
so that we
sensible.
know how to get in contact with them. He'll probably tell them, that we're coming, but still.
I'm just wondering if we want him to know that we're traveling out in that direction.
Well, we won't tell
We
him
don't.
that.
We
We'll
don't
just-
have to tell him that, but he's okay. Yeah, let's see how we play it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You lead.
So
Come,
as
you can go. You're more skillful.
just to let you know, he's fielded a couple of. Clearly had a few small words with people who maybe didn't want to stick their hand up with questions. Perhaps dealing with other just day-to-day business around the settlement. But now he appears to be wrapped up, and he is headed back into the rest of the offices. So you will have to move pretty quick to catch him.
Oh yeah, let's follow him to the offices. Just
Okay. He's heading down the corridor, trailed by as he invariably is by his assistant.
do we know where his office is?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Was that not where we were at the start?
You were in
Well,
one
that
of
was
the, you
just
were in
the
one of the small
security,
breakout
yeah.
rooms to the side of
Yeah.
this main room.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's just keep on him until he gets to his office or wherever he's going, and I don't want to do it out in the hallways.
As he makes his way down the hallway, he doesn't get as far as his office because he senses a group of people following him down the corridor. Pauses.
He senses the 10-foot dragon following him.
His senses are attuned like that. Yeah. So here's the rustling of 10-foot wings behind him, and surprise, does turn around. Yes. You. What can I do for you?
Well, I don't. Let's not talk in the hallway. Let's get somewhere a bit more private than this.
Fine. And
You never know who's listening,
He takes you up to his office. Again, it's pretty utilitarian. It's pretty bland, bureaucratic. Again, everything's prefab here. Well kept. Not small. They have the they're pretty blessed with space around here, so it's not a small office. But not particularly ornately decorated. There are, a few data pads and computer terminals, stacks of paper, and a large desk. Not really anything to speak of in terms of personal ornaments or anything. It's all fairly, like I say, functional and utilitarian. He enters his office. His assistant follows him, and he leaves the door open for you to join him. It's upstairs in the
Okay.
building.
Yeah, I'll just follow him in. Whoever's last can close the door.
I'll wave Clara through politely, gentleman vest I am, and then close the door behind us.
Thanks. thanks.
And what is it I can do for you? I'm afraid I can't. I can't be all day. I have much to tend to.
Well, we won't take much of your time. I just need the contact information for your group of hunters.
Well, as I told you yesterday evening, that I have been in contact with them, and they have sent me an updated report. They are a little behind schedule, but that's only to be expected with the unexpected increase in numbers. I have notified them of your arrival, and do you wish to speak to them? Although they informed me that apparently some of your group have already met with their leader, Mr. Griffin.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, well, maybe we should talk to them directly. Seems like they could definitely use our help.
Well, we discussed this yesterday, sir. While I appreciate the offer, these are trained professionals with experience in this area, and I don't wish to create a power struggle, confusion on this most important endeavor. No, I'm afraid you're going to have to remain in this area. I don't want you confusing the work.
Let me just lay it out for you, okay? You've hired those hunters. Your bosses have hired us. So clearly, these guys, they need us. We're going to need to go in. Because this is above your pay grade, surely.
Now, listen here, you. You represent a shareholder, an unknown shareholder for this facility, and I respect that. And I've made every accommodation, literally. But you only represent one shareholder. Now, I don't know your patrons' shareholding, but I know that they are not the majority shareholder here on Cryonis 3. That much I am aware of. And therefore, while I will extend you every courtesy while you remain with us, I will not be intimidated, sir. I have other shareholders whom I represent, and they have given me authority to act as I see fit, and I see no reason to change that now.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
Mr. Mazerata, we're not attempting to challenge your authority. All we're saying is that if you would allow us to assist these hunters in their tasks, then the quicker mining production can resume, and your workers who are clearly disgruntled can once again receive their bonuses. At the moment, everyone, majority or minority shareholders, are just losing money. We have the necessary skills to engage with these creatures. You may as well make use of us. We're not going to challenge the authority of your hunters. We're just additional hands that can deal out more destruction.
I also suggest that you hire some more scientists, because some shit might be going down on this planet. And you need scientists.
Technical term.
You need
Shit's
scientists.
about to go down.
You don't need hunters, you need scientists. So I would get the best ones you can find.
Explain yourself, sir. I see no threat beyond the arachnoid infestation, which is being dealt with as I have explained.
Well, but did you wonder why there's an infestation now of all times? Sometimes these things can't be dealt with through brute force alone. You need to use your head.
Well, I couldn't agree more, and that's why I've brought in professionals, not unknown entities who seem gung-ho to blow things up, destroy things. I have no evidence of your credentials, experience, and this is why I can't sanction you to join the hunting expeditions. However, I will concede that perhaps you may be of use to the freelancers, and I will therefore point you in their direction to discuss directly with them. However, they will communicate with me and we will discuss your level of involvement. I don't want any renegade action. This is a very delicate situation, and I don't need any maverick...
How is it delicate?
This is a very valuable installation, sir. There are a lot of
Absolutely,
concerned
but-
parties,
absolutely,
of
but
which
how is-
you represent one. You should understand this more than anyone.
But how is it delicate? We have an infestation of arachnids. That needs to be dealt with. In what sense is it delicate? They just need to be dealt with. Where's the delicacy coming?
Our mining operation here is worth a significant investment to both your employer and the other shareholders, and we are, as you may have noticed, somewhat remote. We have security, we have defenses, but the reason I closed down the comms tower was I didn't want any of the ne'er-do-wells and nefarious factions in this area of space becoming aware of our predicament. We
All
are
the more reason
ultimately
for you
vulnerable
to
to
let us-
external...
Isn't that all the more reason for you to allow us to assist your hunters and deal with this as quickly as possible?
That may well be the outcome, but I am not prejudging anything right now. If you wish to talk to the freelancers, you may talk to the freelancers. I have sent you their coordinates, but
Contact?
I want no unsanctioned action.
Personal contact details? Their comms?
Their leader is Dex Geffen. He is a...
Sorry,
he
what was that
comes-
again? Dick Griffin. Sorry,
Right.
Dex Griffin.
Sorry, yes, hang on, let me just jump back.
No, that was deliberate on me because we've all decided to use a dick.
He's a dick.
Their leader is Dex Griffin, and he comes highly recommended by very reputable firm, and I have no doubt in his abilities to deal with this problem.
Well, he
You know, he
don't
hasn't
be good
dealt
at
with
his
it yet.
job because he doesn't have a very good attitude.
Well, I am not paying him for his...
Do you think we should just tell him
Likability.
to give us the
Personality?
details or threaten to eat his
Clearly.
face? Because, like, reasoning with this guy isn't getting anywhere.
Any aggressive behavior towards my staff, our employees, any resident of Cryonis 3 will be met with the sternest of consequences, and I am deeply concerned that you would even contemplate such a thing.
Is now a good time to mention that he implied he wanted to turn me into a coat?
He
I
does.
think he kind of deserves his face to be eaten.
Now you,
I'm not saying I would, but he is not a nice person.
Now you listen here, madam. He
It's
may
just
have a
this
somewhat
guy's face.
unconventional way of talking to people. I, too, have occasionally been a little... He can be a bit abrupt, from my experience, but
Unconventional.
he has my full confidence. And I expect
He
you...
sounds like a dick.
Can we try and intimidate this guy into giving us the contact details for the... Well, okay, sorry, to you guys. I don't know. Do you think it's worth us trying to intimidate? How much?
By
do
the
you
way,
wanna
he has
push
given
this?
you the contact details for Dex.
Oh, he has. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
He-
okay.
He's given you the location of their camp.
Has he given us the actual so we can actually call them as well? Or because I got the impression he was only allowing us to communicate through him. Is it like a relay?
He has given you the leader's ident code that allows you to send a message direct to Dex.
Okay, misunderstanding. We don't. That's as much as we need, right? We don't need anything else from this guy, yeah?
Is there any little baubles or trinkets on his desk?
Really, no. There's a couple of kind of, I suppose, like almost executive office like there's like one or two, like they're not even toys. They're just really.
Is there a stapler?
They're really. there is an electromagnetic stapler. Yeah.
I'm
gonna
just
pick-
intrigued where he's going with this.
I'm picking his stapler up and I'm putting it in my pocket and saying, "This is mine now until I get back. This is my stapler."
But
I'm gonna need it for my mission.
what gives you the right, sir, to put that back?
Look,
Put that back right
this
now.
No, the stapler is vital to the mission. I need it.
Give
So
me.
thank you for your contact.
Are you trying to convince Nix that this is necessary, or are you making an intimidating point?
Yeah, I'm making an intimidating
I
point.
was trying to figure out what happens.
Give me an intimidation roll.
Okay, let's go. I'm gonna use the birthday dice. Don't let me down.
This is on. Says this on Zoe. If you roll a 1.
Yeah. That is 17.
He's not especially shook by you
No.
taking his stapler.
I just wanted to irritate him. Like, really, I just wanted to irritate
My
him.
stationery.
Yeah.
You, sir, are a guest. I will ask you one more time to return my stapler to the desk.
This conversation is taking a very surreal
I-
turn. Maybe you should try stapling something
How
with it
do
just
we
to prove
end
your
up
point.
doing this?
I don't
I'm
know what
marching
you're.
with a 10-foot dragon.
I don't know what you hope to achieve, but return my stationery right now, sir. I am the administrator of this facility.
Got some wonderful ideas that could be that stapler could be used for regarding our mission.
Ormagander just looks at this point. He's not picking up on any of this. He's just really looking really confused. What do we do? Do we actually need the stapler?
Right.
He's imagining different places she can staple decks.
Dick
It
Griffin.
really hurt.
Right. Do you return the stapler, Face?
No,
Return the stapler. And they go. Pew, 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 pew,
You're
pew.
keeping the stapler.
I am. Yes. You will get it back. You will get it back.
Well, I finished with it.
I have to ask you all to leave. I have much work to do. Out, all of you. You've taken
You're not
enough of my time already.
Anything.
He's ordering you out.
Good. He's annoyed.
Right,
Let's
yeah,
go, man.
yeah. I'll open the door for for Face and Clara, and just look at Face like what?
Clara's just kind of trying to conceal a grin, just got a little smirk on her face, just looks up at Face and is just like, do you feel better now?
Yeah, a bit. Yeah.
Ormagander's not even. He's not even. He hasn't got it. He doesn't even understand what that whole interaction, that whole exchange was about. He's half thinking, maybe we really do need a stapler. What's he gonna do?
If Dex threatens to turn me into a coat again, can I borrow that stapler? I've got some
Yeah,
ideas.
of course. Don't worry.
Fantastic.
As you guys leave the office, the administrator thumps around. He's pissed off about that.
Random stapler
is-
theft. It's
He's
bizarre.
surprisingly pissed off about that.
Good.
His assistant flaps around him as the door slowly closes. You hear his sheepish assistant going, I can bring you another one from the store, sir. And the door seals behind you. Meanwhile, she and Blaz, in what I can only assume is a much more delicate operation, have been scoping out the administration offices. There isn't a huge amount to them. There is, as you run around, it's thankfully most of the doors are labelled. Like I say, it's very much a stenciled spray paint on hard bulkheads kind of place. So as you make your way around the corridors of the first and second floors, ground and first floors, you're trying to get a bit of a lay of the land. You get a bit of a feel for what these offices are made up of, and you come across the administrator's residence, which is essentially a couple of doors down from his office. In fact, you can kind of hear little bit of kerfuffle coming down the office, coming down the corridor. You're probably quite concerned about what the fuck that kerfuffle's about, and you know what? Maybe you should be. You also come across some storage rooms, the assistant's office. She has her own smaller office. You also come across all of the doors have keypads. All of them are protected by some at least basic security. Although straight away, as you approach the gunnery control room, you can see that this is a more protected area. So next door to the gunnery control room, you also see essentially the server mainframe room, which again has some heftier security on it, as you would expect, really. So yeah, that's what you find. You find a room clearly labelled as gunnery control and a mainframe server room, both with some pretty chunky bulkhead doors. And Blaz, you would know straight away that it's like, oh, this is where they spent the money on the locks, basically. Everywhere else is very much kind of like, it's a little bit like, you know, those combination padlocks where you're like, I'll be through this in 5 minutes. Whereas you come across those, it's like, oh, they spent a few bob on these. This is actually relatively legit. Certainly not a guaranteed breeze to get in.
That takes
So
a really
Blaz,
good
what do
look.
you think?
Takes a really good look at the lock, and he's like, it's a shame we don't have an electromagnetic stapler, because I could pick one of these really easily. But yeah, I'll have a go at getting through it.
You don't get to tell me the solution to the cool locks, as funny as that is. Damn, I know I'm spending my break now. Okay. I will tell you, you've basically got a pretty comprehensive understanding of the layout of this building now. There isn't much to it. Most of the ground floor is the meeting hall. Upstairs, it's offices, IT, and defense systems. However, your spatial awareness and understanding, I mean, you are used to stalking your way around buildings. You've got a nose for detecting sensing when, hang on a second, these dimensions don't add up. Panic room. That's the way your brain works. And having covered the ground floor and covered the first floor, you realise actually the gunnery control room is not small. It's not a broom cupboard. It's a moderate sized room that would probably fairly comfortably accommodate a good few people. It's not huge, but it's not a one person arcade. So yeah, you do get a feel for that. It's not there's not a pokey phone box in there.
Yeah, she notes that to Blaz. This room seems a lot bigger than I thought, and certainly a lot bigger than I would have thought a colony like this would need. I mean, why would they be so heavily armed if what they're doing is mining?
Interesting.
Do you think you can break the lock on the gunnery room?
I'm not sure. Are we talking a technological lock or a big chunky lump of steel lock?
Give me an engineering check.
An engineering check.
I just did an engineering check and got a 25.
Oh well, that's better than my 19. So yeah.
Between the pair of you, she obviously is used to breaking in places. Blaz, you're used to dealing with pretty high-tech computers and IT and the like. You determine that this is a protected system. Not necessarily beyond the realms of being hackable, but You've both been round the houses enough to recognise a protected system when you see one, and any attempt that you may make to artificially get this door open through unsanctioned means runs the risk of potentially countermeasures. Everything about it screams, this is not the keypad just to poke at. And you know, this doesn't come as a surprise to either of you. I mean, you have been around, and you know that ultimately, colony defence is of course going to be one of the most secure systems on the in the settlement. Everywhere else is pretty much an unlocked door. It's an unlocked doors kind of town. But controlling the 4 starship scale turrets that protect the settlement from potential air or ground incursion from hostile forces. It ain't going to be it's not a tin can phone.
And the server room, I'm guessing, is equally well protected.
Similar systems in place.
Didn't we go past the assistant administrator's office a second ago? Could we not poke our heads in there and see if there's a key card or a noted down code that we might be able to make use of?
Isn't she in there at the moment?
Thought she was in with the administrator, flapping around him and saying that she'd get him another stapler from storage.
Perfect. Let's go and check out her office.
Bear in mind, I'm having to apply some narrative timeline shifting because I can't do these interactions simultaneously. So don't take the fact that your bit comes immediately after that interaction to mean that she's definitely in the office. You don't know that because you weren't in the office, so you're not aware. It could be occupied. It could not be.
Well, if she's in there, one of us can distract her, and the other one can see if they can see a card and
Awesome.
nick it.
Okay, so what are you doing?
We'll go see the administrator. Well, we'll go to the
Go and knock really politely on the assistant administrator's office door and go, "Hello, everyone calling."
The door swishes open, and you are met by the administrator's assistant, sort of busily flapping around her little office. Yes? Can I help you?
Yeah, I heard there was some weird commotion coming from the administrator's office. Did he need you? You might want to just go and sort that out.
Well, Sorry. Can I help you? No. I've just come from the administrator's office. What can I do? What can I do for you? Are you supposed to be up here?
Yes. Absolutely.
We were asked to check out the corridors after the meeting to make sure nobody had hung around where they shouldn't be.
Okay. No, I've not seen anyone. Is there anything else I can help you with, or? And she just has this kind of flustered vibe. She has a kind of Nicola Murray from The Thick of It kind of vibe. Just always a little bit on the back foot. Just a little bit twitchy.
What's your diplomacy?
Or
would it be in order to kind of like engage her in conversation?
Mm-hmm.
What skill would that be?
Well, you can just engage her in conversation. I'll let you know if there's a skill check required. But just tell me what you want to achieve, or start the conversation.
Well, Blaz is going to kind of step past her a little bit. Oh wow, is this yours? This is really nice, actually. I've not seen many assistant administrator offices be quite this nice, and just kind of maneuver himself, try and pass her in the doorway.
Is it? I've never really thought about it. It's just an office, really. I'm sorry. I'm quite busy. What is it you want?
Oh, we're auditing the security preparations in the building for our silent investor in the mining venture here in Cryonis 3, and yeah, just making sure all is ship-shape and as expected, and nothing to worry about. And he pats her on both shoulders and kind of just lets his hands trail past her pockets on the way down.
Oh, okay. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Laz, it's time to shine. I knew I'd spent skill points in this for a reason. 26.
You say you're going for pockets.
Yes.
Okay, so she's dressed. She's not dressed in a. This is not a suit and tie environment, even for an administrator, even if you're not a kind of like manual labourer. So she's wearing pretty practical. It's effectively a jumpsuit, lots of pockets. You managed to steal a couple of pens. You managed to steal a small slip of plasticized paper. And what appears to be some futuristic feminine hygiene products.
But no stapler.
Damn it, no electromagnetic stapler.
You know what would have really helped with pickpocketing? Having 4 arms.
She, what are you up to? While Blaz is frisking the secretary.
I am. Well, I think I can sneak past Blaz, just kind of through the door, and have a quick look at the desk, see what's on there.
Hers is does have a few more personal effects on it. There's a couple of pictures from home. I suppose almost like a kind of let's say a sci-fi Sudoku. She clearly likes, she likes her puzzles. So there's a couple of just like little kind of pass the time things. Quite a lot of, you can see quite a lot of memos and requests from various departments of the facility. She's clearly got quite a big workload. That might explain why she's so sort of flustered and on the back foot. There is of course her computer, which is a pretty standard office computer. Currently on lock. She hasn't been working at it. There's a interestingly, she does have kind of like a screensaver, a desktop that is. You don't know the planet, but it's very warm looking. It really does look very warm. And that's about it. But not much of note. Just general administrative bump.
Okay, does the desk have any drawers?
No, there's a kind of a filing cabinet type affair in the corner of the room, big chunky metal thing. But no drawers in the desk. Like I say, very utilitarian. This whole place, really.
I do wonder what she knows that working with Nyx, and I'm wondering, given the fact that she's so kind of tired out, what she might tell us if we ask the right questions.
Right now, she seems tired, distracted, and just flustered, and doesn't really understand what you guys want. It feels like she's trying to kind of like go on then, just she's trying to sort of shuffle you off. It's like, I don't know what this conversation is. I've got so much on, and just that's the overwhelming impression you get from her. She clearly doesn't want to come across as rude. She's worried, she looks. She's trying to be polite. She's trying to be helpful, but she's also a bit like, I have so much to do, and like, what can I? She's like, what can I do to satisfy you and crack on with my day without upsetting anyone? Is the whole vibe right now.
she kind of sneaks back past Laz, and she can I ask the assistant if she could give us a security card, given that she's so flustered and she just wants to get rid of us. Is there any? Can I ask that?
Well, I don't deal with the security. I just just help the administrator. If you want security access, I can't make that decision. I'm so sorry. I just can't make that decision. You'd have to talk to the administrator or the head of security. It's just outside of my remit. I'm so sorry. I wish I could help, but I'm so busy here.
Yeah, we understand. Thank you so much for your time. She gestures to Blaz, and let's go and find the rest of the team. They might still be in the building.
Yeah, okay. Give that one up as a bad job. Don't want to bully
Yeah, we're not gonna
bully
get
a
anything
harried
out of
assistant into it.
It wouldn't stop Face.
Hey, no.
You did
I only
get some
that 'cause you guys
pens.
are dick.
Yeah, I got some pens and some futuristic feminine hygiene products that I just kind of hand to she. And
Gee,
what-
thanks.
yeah,
Maybe you could give them to
You
OSHA
are
Reigns.
so lucky
your
that I'm not
girlfriend.
ramming them up your nose right now.
I think you should.
don't really have any
No.
space in the med kit for that. Sorry.
Brilliant. On that note, as you extract yourself from the administrative assistant's office, that is where we're going to take a very quick break, folks. I have run out of liquids and I'm dying over here, so I'm going to go and get some fresh liquids. We're going to let the crew take a couple of minutes break, so you should do the same at home. And while you are taking a break, why don't you head over to OverlordFace's channel? Yeah, the link's in the chat. Go and pop over there. If you're not already following or subscribing, you should. Not least because myself and VampZoe and basically play D&D over there. So if this is your bag, join us over there on Wednesday nights. We're on a little bit of a break at the moment, but we'll be back. And of course, don't forget to do the same for VampZoe at the link below. Give her a follow, give her a subscribe. Gamer and all-round just fucking good egg. So yeah, help them out. I'm going to take a few minutes break. We'll be back very shortly. Oh, and don't let me forget, follow the Uncanny Crafter. The Uncanny Crafter. Pop a little message in. Pop a little message in chat so everybody can just click on your name. Because I haven't got a command set up for you yet. And then they can all give her a follow because she's going to start doing craft stuff. Arts and crafts
I
stuff
am actually
on
making
Twitch this year.
art. So we'll see if I get better at it. Then
There you go. You
you
see.
never know.
So yeah. So
New Year's resolution.
chuck her a follow in anticipation of that. Let's help her get off to a flying start, shall we? Right. I'm back in a few minutes, and yeah, we'll see where we're going to go from here. So, yeah. Interesting first half. Some interesting decisions made. What are you guys doing now? You've now made your way back downstairs in the administration building. You've hopefully acquired the knowledge and staplers that you feel are essential to the mission. And what is the plan now, team?
I say we go to the lab, guys. I feel like the lab is the most important place for us to be right now.
Seconded.
Yeah.
Laz and I have caught up with the rest of them. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, guys.
Do we?
Question is how we're gonna get there.
Do we just get back to the ship, get Clem to fly us over? Or do we want to be a bit...
It's not really anywhere to land the ship.
Yeah,
That's
though,
what,
is
that's
there?
what I was going to
Yeah.
ask. How easy is it for the Rusty Mustang to just land? I mean,
Well, it's like planes out there, right?
Don't ask me. I'm just
Yeah.
the GM. I'm not the
Why
man.
don't
I'm
we
not the person to
radio
ask.
Clem?
Yeah,
If
that's a
we
good call.
comms
Yeah.
Clem.
Yeah.
Alright.
Do a quick
Yeah.
environment scan.
Ask him what his bush piloting skills are like.
He'll just get Yala on the job. It'll be fine. Yala's a great pilot.
And when I say bush piloting, that's not a prompt for him to do an anecdote about what's it called? The Rouge Saloon. There you go.
I think Ormanganda should speak to him. I don't have very good interpersonal skills.
Well, because I do.
Mine are clearly set.
Yeah, let's So
Wild-
we've got the
wild
10
choice.
We've got the 10-foot dragon who steals staplers in weird power moves. We've got the 7-foot Vascu basically wants to eat people. We've got the Shunter assassin who wants to stab everyone. And I'm thinking maybe Clara should be the person we should go with on this one.
You're a real personable group,
Captain
aren't you?
Clara.
But we
Captain
made
Clara.
friends, and that's all that matters.
Okay, so you're dropping a comms line on the PCUs back to the Rusty Mustang. Shall we, for the sake of argument, say that this is on speakerphone?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So one of you chimes in the Rusty Mustang ident, and a few seconds pass, and you are met with a little chirp of confirmation, letting you know that there is an established line. Well, hey there. What's going on?
Hey, Clem. Clem, can you hear me?
I got you, buddy.
Can you hear me, Clem Fandango?
Loud and clear, 10-4.
We've got some coordinates that we need to check out on the plains. We were wondering if you could give us a little lift.
Well,
If it's possible to land there at all.
sure thing. Why don't you ping those coordinates through? I'll take a look.
Thanks, man.
You ping the coordinates over. A couple of minutes pass while he runs them through his local nav comp. Well, that's out there, huh? Well, that pass we took over the colony on the way in. I don't like the look of it. It's I don't fancy the Mustang's chances out there. It's pretty unstable. It's pretty much unmapped. I wouldn't fancy putting her big ass out there on the plains. No real way to know if it'll take the weight. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I can jeopardize the ship.
Copy that, Clem. We'll take the ass.
Sure thing. The ass is all yours.
Going on a brisk walk. Let's go, guys.
Well, hey, before you go, like, what's out there? What have you found? I mean, me and Yarla, we've been sat here on the ship. We were starting to get a little bit worried about you.
There might be a lab out there. There's also some hunters out there.
Hunters? Do I need
And
to
some
be...
Yeah,
big ass
for the-
spiders.
The big spiders that hey, so maybe don't go outside the ship.
Yeah, don't leave the ship, Clem.
Stay, it's nice and warm and safe in there.
If
Stay
you
in
ever
there.
want to go back
sure-
to the Rouge Saloon, do not leave the ship.
Yeah, and make sure you're prepped for takeoff. Very
Yeah.
rapid takeoff.
We might need to get out of here quick.
How
10-14.
how much weight can the ass pull?
Oh,
Have you
well.
ever like put anyone on skis behind it
Well, she'll...
or a trailer?
I mean, we've towed some stuff with her before. I mean, she's got a lot of torque. She's a solid little vehicle, but we
Strong
don't
ass.
really have anything. We've got a strong ass, yeah, but we don't have anything for that. I mean, we've towed stuff on other planets, but we don't have anything on the ship, I'm afraid.
When Clara said how much weight can it pull, you just see Face do a little like look down at his stomach and like tap his little stomach and just sort of like give it a little tap and like and then get back. Just
Okay, well, if you guys are planning on heading out into the wilderness, just do me a favor, won't you? Take care, huh? I mean,
I'll bring you back a spider head. Don't worry.
Well, man,
Copy that, Clem.
I'm not a. You know me. I'm not afraid of a little bit of trouble, but I'm not much of a nature guy. I don't do critters. I tell ya, last time I was here, they brought one of those arachnoid things down from the mountains, and well, you wouldn't catch me tangling with them, and I think that was just a small one. So, watch how you go now, yeah?
They brought it
Wait,
down. Who brought it down? And
Who
why?
brought it down, Clem?
Well, these things have been around for a while. They've always known they were there. Last time I was here, they were doing a few experiments, just trying to work out what they're all about, you know? And I took one look at that thing, and that was a big nope from me. Like y'all are always used to say about the ladies down at the old Rouge Saloon. You want to be staying away from all of that. It's all long legs and biting teeth, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you have been a great help, Clem. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
No
it's really
worries.
interesting.
Hey,
We will see you back at the ship, yes?
As a female with long legs and biting teeth, Clara is only mildly offended by that statement.
I can't wait for the Rouge Saloon supercut. That's going to be my next YouTube short. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
We'll do a deep dive at the Rouge Saloon.
I think we should like get a couple of things we can use as skis or snowboards and have the lizard boys just have a little fun while we drive.
I think we
great.
should just tie Face to it, tell him to spread his wings, and then put the pedal to the metal and see if he can paraglide over there.
I mean,
You paraglide, I'll ski.
if you
That
want,
sounds quality.
that's fine. If you want to
Yeah.
practice your flying and floating and whatever,
Hey,
I'm
man.
here for it.
I mean,
I
rule
like
of
being
cool,
there.
that's pretty fucking legit.
Yeah.
I've got to hand it to you.
Yeah.
I've got to hand it
So
to you,
you-
gang. That's pretty good.
You paraglide, and I'll be like a jet ski
Your jet
behind.
ski, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's what we want. So we want to jury rig the ass, so we can do that now, Jay.
All we need is a
I've-
couple of ropes, and then
I've
like,
got
something
50 feet
for
of
you
rope.
to-
As one does.
Nice.
something for you to stand on to make you like ski,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then yeah, just rope.
So you guys
be
are
easy.
preparing for your journey out to the lowland plains beyond
Yeah.
the mines.
I also think we should go to the lab before we go to the hunters because
Yeah.
there might be some very
Agreed.
pertinent information at the lab that will help us.
Absolutely.
Big time.
So your plan is to beeline basically straight to the coordinates for the lab, using
Yeah.
the ass and trying to come up with some sort of sledge trailer to allow you all to travel together. That's correct.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, so the ass is currently parked pretty much at the gates of the Cryonis 3 facility. So as you guys are, I think Blaz is probably taking the lead on this with his engineering skills. He's jerry-rigging a fairly impressive little sledge to be towed behind the ass. It's
Skis. Not sledge, skis. I'm not singing it. He's going to be standing up.
is this
With shades on.
as
Two fucking lizards, man.
as my diehard fans say? Is this canon? Is that actually what's happening, team?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Okay. So hang on a sec. So
100%.
I need to clarify this. So I need to get this in my little GM head. Who is intending on traveling in the ass, and who is being towed behind? I know that Face is paragliding behind. That's the plan. At least.
Laz, she, and Clara will be in the ass. Ormangander will be towed along behind, kind of snow surfing or snowboarding on something. And Face shall be gliding majestically above us, secured only by a tether stapled to the back of the ass with some surprisingly firm staples.
Okay. Are there any other preparations that you guys are making for this expedition?
Yeah, I want the previously discussed Parker cold weather gear. I chatted with Mr. Mazerata about. Because I'm going to be
we all
outside.
kind of
I'm bringing both my axes.
Cold weather gear, maybe, big lad, this time.
So yeah, because I'd like to clarify effectively what you guys are planning on packing for this journey, because it's a fair trek out there. Running the numbers, you are looking at. It's probably at least. I mean, even with the ass providing the transportation, it's a solid 3-4 hours out there. It's out there.
Full cold weather gear,
and as you leave,
rations,
and
extra fuel.
Ormaganda, you would know that as you leave the depression that the settlement sits within, in this kind of crescent of the Horseshoe Mountains, you'd know that as you get further and further out into the wastes, the environmental conditions do get harsher. You start to lose the protection of the shelter that the Horseshoe Mountains provide from some of the elements here on Cryonis 3. So it's an undertaking. So I just want to kind of get a good feel for how you guys preparing for this trip.
All the necessary survival gear that we need. I think it's reasonable for us. I mean, like I said, I did discuss that previous session with Mazerata.
You are all thermally insulated, as we've covered in previous episodes. You have like your technical thermal layer that will allow you to stay out in the elements for significantly longer than you would be able to in your usual armor and togs. That said, this is a harsh moon, so like I say, once you leave the protection of the settlement and the shelter of the Horseshoe Mountains, temperatures drop, wind speeds pick up, and even with your advanced thermals, there is only so long you can really stay out in the elements. None of the miners have even got like suits that will just completely make you inured to all of the elements here on the moon. But you've certainly got enough to be out there and functional for, pretty good period of time. You're basically as kitted out as you can be, with the exception of Face, who has cold feet. Because he's a fashion victim, as we established in the previous episode. So, Face, it is up to you if you want to change that situation, or are you still rocking the Beachbody calves?
What I want to do is basically I've changed since yesterday. My fashion tastes have changed, and now.
I mean, it was fucking painful yesterday trudging through that snow.
Yeah, well now what I've got on is basically like some like knee-high moon boots.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. Like with like clawed toes. Like
yeah.
How have you come across these? You didn't buy these.
No, well, this is the thing, because Dragonkin, there's rarely ever any sort of clothes made for them outside of Triaxis. So
unique foot shape.
Yeah, we've all sort of learnt how to adapt shoes to fit us.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been seamstressing something.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a skill I shout about.
No,
but it's something I can do.
Okay. So you essentially, so just to clear up, you've essentially the bits that you snipped off your thermals, you've now refashioned into some pretty funky looking footwear.
Yeah.
And you are now on a like parity with the rest of the group. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Could we say that he's tried to make moon boots, but he's just ended up making a pair of Uggs instead?
Dragon Uggs.
Like dragon-sized Uggs.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's up to Face, but yeah, I mean, as GM, I'll allow it.
I mean, can I roll to see how good they are?
You know what? Yes. And can you make that a what sort of check would that be? That's going to be. It's not engineering. It's like a crafting kind of thing. It's not. Let me just work out what that would be.
Survival.
Culture, maybe.
Ooh.
Probably culture, yeah.
Culture.
Oh no! You know what it's going to be? It's going to be a survival check.
Yep. Okay.
That's
Survival. Okay. Well, that is a 19.
Ooh.
Cracking pair of Dragon Uggs.
Yeah.
Good job, kiddo.
Even stitched in the little Ugg but in Dragonkin on the back.
Looking good. You are now on a
Can I
par
just
with the
have
rest
that
of the
as
group.
a soundbite? Can I just have the words "cracking pair of dragon Uggs"
Hang on,
as a sound bite?
Okay, hang on a sec. Everybody shush. I'm going to give... For Zoe's sake, I'm just going to give that clean. Cracking pair of dragon Uggs. Okay, yeah, there you go. Feel free. Snip away. Snip and clip away.
While everyone is sort of gathering their stuff and packing up, I'm like sort of trying to sneakily show off the boots, but not saying anything about them. Just sort of like putting my foot up on stuff and like stretching my legs.
Such a donkey.
Mounting chairs like Riker.
Yeah,
Just
thinking of
swinging the boots.
You are such a donkey. Well, while you guys are preparing, while you guys are rigging for the journey, you see a group of 5 uniformed security personnel strolling over to your prep area, your little scrap heap challenge area where you've been putting together this these modifications. One of them has a slightly different trim on their uniform. You pretty quickly identify that that's the leader of this group. She would know that this is Rubio Locus in her skulkings earlier in the day. She'd identified the head of security for the settlement, who leads the local detachment of the corporate protection force that are stationed here on Cryonis 3, and they stroll up to you and pause for a second. You're all busy, hard at work, and pause expectantly with that look of, thanks.
I look at them and say, "Hello, how you guys doing?"
Rubio, Mr. Locus, Sergeant Locus, pipes up. Not so bad there, friend. Just wanted to stop by and see how you were getting on.
Yeah, we're just prepping for a long old cold trek.
Oh, really? Where are you guys headed today?
Just thought we'd scout the local area, you know.
Sure, I understand. I mean, if there's anything you need to know, feel free to come and say hello. I can't help but notice you haven't stopped by since you arrived.
Well, we've been quite busy. We've been chatting with the administrator.
Yeah.
A lot of things, you know.
Yeah, well, I heard about that. Now look, we're all just folk here, and we're all just trying to get along. But, I think you have something that, I think you have something I'm gonna need to take off you there, my friend. He's looking at you,
gun
Face.
and my badge.
Sorry, did you say you give him your gun and your badge?
Yeah.
Knobhead. Well, we all know you don't have a gun or a badge because I've got your inventory open right here on the screen. So what do you actually do?
We're not giving him the last of our lizards on sticks. He can just forget about it.
It's just a gun and a badge drawn on a piece of paper.
Yeah. Piece of futuristic
really
plasticized
clumsily
paper.
sprawled.
Yeah.
Crayon.
Blaz turns to she and just give it to him, and so
Can I just grab it off Face and just give it to Rubio?
No, because what I'm doing right now is I'm making sure that it's empty and then giving it back to him.
Okay, so just to clarify, you don't need to hear any more. In response to this question, you stand there and you go around about 75 times.
No, because what
and then
hand
the stapler to Rubio.
No, because what I did was I used most of the staples while
To
I
make the
was making my food.
So you go about 35 times and hand the staple back to Rubio. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yes.
While you are punching through all of the stapler's ammo, Rubio is watching you.
I am catching the staples because I need them.
Okay, all right. So, into your claw. Are you saying anything while you're doing this, or are you looking him in the eye? Are you looking at your group? What's the vibe?
I'm just sort of saying, look, you can have the stapler back. Just give me 2 seconds.
I just want the staple.
These are honestly, these are gonna be important later. So here, just.
Ormungandr just looks completely bemused. He's just like staring at me. He's like, what?
No, because
she is at the point of basically wanting to strangle Faith because she actually thinks, the head of security might have some useful information for us. Pissing him off by emptying a stapler in front of him probably isn't the best idea.
Well, jumping in there, she will take some solace in the fact that while this goes on, Rubio is watching, somewhat bemused, somewhat intrigued. He's kind of taking it fairly mellow way. It's not his fucking stapler. And there's something in his eyes. I'm not going to make you roll a sense motive because the entire group picks this up. That you can see from his face. He's going, I'm the head of security for a fairly sensitive mining operation, and I can't fucking believe that this is the first interaction I'm having with the new arrivals. He's kind of baffled by whatever the fuck this is. He
All will
can't
be revealed.
He can't believe that he's been sent out here with a force of 4 security officers as backup to retrieve a stapler. But yet here we are. As you hand it back over to him, he's like, well, okay then. Well, how long do you think you'll be gone?
Laz steps forward and holds out his hand to shake hands with Rubio and says, I really hope there's no hard feelings there, and goes to pat him on the shoulder and just down the side.
Good trust. Oh,
Sorry,
God.
pats him on the shoulder and what?
Just rubs his hand.
I still don't know what you're saying.
He's trying to pickpocket him.
Are you really?
See,
Look, man, I'm pretty willing to get into a fight at the drop of a hat, but seriously, what are we doing here?
see, I may do my shit, but at least I'm not literally pickpocketing the head of security.
I will. Look, funny, but I will give you good gag. But is it real?
No, I'm gonna shake his hand and just pop a pen in his top pocket of his coat, and there you go.
Yeah, something for your troubles.
Where's the
Pickpocketing.
Who's the nicest pen that you stole?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Place pocketing.
look, I don't know where you're heading. Take care out there, won't you? I mean, it's a danger.
Got any advice
The planes.
for us?
My advice would be to stay in the settlement. We've got a pretty clean operation here. We keep it as safe as we can, but outside the perimeter of the settlement, beyond the mines, we have very little control over this place. Just not a go. A lot of hazards, a lot of dangers out there on the plains.
What kind of dangers?
Ice fields, crevasses, the local wildlife I know you already know about. And well, we
Seems
haven't
timing.
fully mapped this area. I mean, we come in, we mine the ore, we get out. Not really much interest in anything else that might be out there. So you seem like a capable bunch, and you're free to come and go as you please. But I'd hate to see anything happen to you. Well, I guess that's it.
Well, just be on the lookout for when we return. We have a ship that we can go back to, so we might be gone quite a while, but we will be back. So,
I'll hope so.
Are we really telling this guy that we might be sometime?
Yeah. Going out for
It
a
appears
while,
that
maybe
way, yeah.
sometime.
Yeah.
Before we set off, I just who would know about I've forgotten their fucking name. Was it Ubel?
Yeah, Dr. Ubel Helsig.
Ubel
Ubel
Helsig.
Helsig. Who would know about Dr. Ubel Helsig's personal matters, family, stuff like that?
Well, yeah, that's a real tragedy. We did our best to find him, but he's been gone so long now. I don't think there's much hope for him. Like I say, it's pretty inhospitable out there, and well, no one's seen sight and sound of him for a few weeks.
Does he
He
have
was-
a file or something that would have contact information for anyone in his family? I managed to rescue some personal effects from when we investigated yesterday that it might I thought were worth saving and passing on if there was anyone.
I'm afraid I don't have that information. I would like to have notified his next of kin when we realized the trail had gone cold, but I'm afraid that information is just not in my files. But we sure were sad to see him go. He wasn't one of us, but he was well liked.
Okay. Well, if our investigations around the area turn up anything that's helpful, I will let you know.
Can we get?
Well, I
can we get
appreciate
comment?
that. It's nice of you to take a personal interest in this. Yeah, it was a sad day. We did our best, but out there on the plains, with the winds and the snow, and once the trail goes cold, it goes cold. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And we're only a small force here. There's only so much we can do. We're not really geared up for detective work. We're mainly just here to protect the mines and the colony.
Before we go, can I just ask quickly, how much do you know about the hunters that have been brought in?
Sergeant Locus stiffens a little bit at the mention of the freelancers out in the plains. Well, when the arachnoids started making their way down from the mountains, did our best, but like I say, we're spread pretty thin here. I've only got 10 men or so to protect the colony, and well, the workers got to come first. I can't station all my guys out there on the mines, and I think we could have probably handled it, but well, the administrator was pretty convinced that we weren't up to the job, so we're just here babysitting.
it's a noble profession. You're needed here.
Well, I appreciate that, friend.
Can we get comlink?
Yeah, can you give me your contact details
For
for Sergeant Rubio, so we can contact him directly if we need to, rather than.
Oh, sure, yeah. If any problems, you let me know. We're here to keep everyone safe. Normally that involves stopping people going out on expeditions to the wastes, but something about you guys tells me you're gonna go your own way.
Yep.
He pings you his ident. Well, anything else you need from me before you set off? I guess we've resolved this stationary situation.
Where was the last contact with Dr. Helsig, Sergeant Rubio?
Well, maybe that's part of the reason I'm worried about you folks. Last time we heard from Dr. Helsig, he was headed out to his lab, wherever the hell that is. Never would tell us. But he was his own guy. Couldn't convince him to let us know where he was going. Made the search a lot harder. The last time we saw him, he was, well, headed out to the plains, just like you guys.
Bodes well.
We'll be fine.
There's a group of us, so hopefully we'll be okay.
Well,
I have just one really quick question.
Sure.
It's kind of buzzing in my mind. How long has the administrator worked here?
oh, he's been here since the beginning.
How long is the beginning?
We've been here a few years now. He's always been the administrator here. There's no one here before him. And something tells me there'll be nobody here after him. He's the guy.
You don't sound very happy about that.
Well, look, I'm not gonna speak out of turn. He's done a good job. He's looked after his people, and, well, I wouldn't want his position. He's got a lot of people who aren't here breathing down his neck. But, I would like to have seen a little bit more confidence in me and my men when the arachnoids made their way down from the mountains, but... pay no mind to me. I don't know. I just don't like... I don't like outsiders coming in to do my job.
I think maybe while the mining operations are down, you guys could teach some of the civilians and workers how to protect themselves.
It's a good idea.
Why do you say that?
Well, I mean, you're on an ice planet full of arachnoids, and they've got a lot of free time right now, so it seems like just,
Some basic defense classes wouldn't go amiss, I'm sure.
You want them on that wall. You need them on that wall.
Well,
the
hey,
time
I mean,
comes.
I appreciate the sentiment there, friend. It's Republic spirited of you, but I mean, it's not the most hospitable moon, but these guys, they've seen worse. These are pretty seasoned spacers we got out here. They're tough, and well, we got the colony defenses. We haven't seen an arachnoid anywhere near the settlement. Well, pretty much ever since we landed. They tend to keep up to the mountains. Now, I know things are a bit strange right now, but I got no reason to believe they'll head this way, but I'll take what you said under advisement, and but these people, well, they've earned some time off. While the work stops, they might as well enjoy themselves. I'm not sure I'm gonna stand in the way of that, putting them to work when they could just be taking some well-deserved time off. Unless
Never
you
know.
have a
A
reason.
couple of good sparring matches might help them release some tension.
Oh, well, if you're into that kind of thing, occasionally there will. The staff here, they gotta blow off some steam sometimes. It's not exactly out of the manual, but we've had a few combat events in the meeting hall. These guys, they're a tough bunch, and sometimes they gotta blow off steam. It's a small community here, and yeah, we've done that kind of thing before. It's like I say, it's not out of the manual, but I turn a blind eye to it. And helps everybody just stay on an even keel. And, well, when you're in my job, that's what you're after.
Well, I think we should probably get going now. We've got some mapping and exploring to do, and I'm sure you need to get back to your duties.
Sure thing. Well, I won't keep you any longer, but mind how you go there, folks. It's dangerous out there, and well, I don't want to be launching any more search parties anytime soon.
We'll try our best to avoid that.
Well, safe travels, and you got my comms if you need it. And thanks for that.
Yep.
Turn the stapler into a corkscrew. Span's a magician.
It's theatre of the mind, Zoe. Suspend disbelief for 30 seconds, for fuck's sake. I don't have a stapler right here.
Then I wouldn't be the sarcastic bitch that I am.
Give me a prop once in a while.
I had plans for that stapler, big plans.
Well, they're gone now, but you've still got the staples, you weird fuck.
We can unbend the staples and just ram them in something.
That has to be your line if you roll any more terrible dice rolls. It's going to be like, well, you still have the staple.
Okay.
You're going to be hearing it a lot.
You blame it on the stapler now, not on me. Not on me buying you the dice.
Okay. Rubio Locus. Sergeant Rubio Locus returns to the security building at the front gate of the settlement, and you are left to finish your jiggery and your pokery, preparing the ass for the long journey ahead. So unless there's anything else you want to do, then you are able to set off. Who's driving?
Nanashi.
Why do I have to drive?
Because last time
Blaz drove last time and it didn't go so
Oh
well.
God. Okay, yeah, sure, I'll drive.
I'll keep an eye on
that again.
I'll keep my ears out for trouble and my eyes on the lizard boys behind us, making sure they don't fly off somewhere.
If only we could be that lucky.
Okay. So the engines of the ass purr into life, and you start making your way down the main trunk road that leads you back towards the Rusty Mustang. It's the quickest route, heading slowly up out of the depression that the settlement is nestled within, away from the Horseshoe Mountains to the west. Pretty uneventful trip. The first just under an hour. Straight road, pretty clear. Oh, sorry, go on.
While we're on our trip, because I am parasailing behind using my wings.
I was going to get to that, but go on.
I, as a seasoned flyer and knower of, air streams and sort of wind, velocity and wind, I want to be on the lookout for when the winds get bad, so I can sort of reel myself in a bit.
Okay.
And get lower, so I can sort of be a bit safer.
Give me a survival check, please.
Okay.
DC 15.
7.
Okay. I'm pulling DC 15 straight out of the rulebook. That is a predict weather difficulty challenge. I mean, let's be honest, mate. You've only ever flown 30 foot at a time. So this is an hour of paragliding on an alien moon. So respect the effort, but I'm afraid if an unexpected weather system comes your way, you will not see that coming.
Well, I tried.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, and you were right to, I'd say. By the way, how comfortable is Face? Like, what sort of altitude are we talking about here?
Well, I've got 30.
Rope's only 30 foot, isn't it? So
Yeah.
You can fly
50-foot
30 feet, but right now he's gliding.
Well, I've got a 50-foot rope, so I would say
Yeah.
I'd probably got about 30 foot of slack on it.
well,
Okay.
no, because we must have used some of the rope for my toe, surely.
Let's presume that you have, knowing that this is a little bit new territory for you, that you've stayed within your flight range of the ground. Does that
Yeah.
sound like a fair call?
Somewhere where I won't take too much from like being
From
put on the floor.
slamming into the ground.
Yeah.
So I can, if I can try and control my fall, I might be okay. But 30 foot isn't too bad. I think anything above that is a bit.
Let's say you're cruising at an altitude of 30 feet.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it takes about just under. You're making good progress. She's a pretty good driver. It's a straight line, but still the conditions are treacherous. There's crosswinds with like broken little fragments of ice flitting across the road. And she does a great job of just making steady progress. So in just under an hour, you reach the landing pad and warehouse complex where the Rusty Mustang is docked. Are you stopping at all, or are you powering straight over the landing pads and straight onto the road that will take you in the closest direction to the coordinates for the lab?
We don't need to stop, do we?
I don't
You're
think so.
driving. Make the call.
Oh, you're
Oh,
muted,
you're
by the
mute.
way, Ellie.
Sorry. I say we keep going just in case the weather gets any worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So you power straight past the Mustang.
Yep.
Make a
Mhm.
wave on the way past, just in case they're
Beep, beep.
looking out the window.
As the ass trundled past, you see through one of the portholes of the Rusty Mustang a little nod from Clem, like, "What are you doing?" But you just breeze straight past. You keep your momentum, and you head out on the Delta Road, which is the road that takes you immediately west. Now, if you want to go as the crow flies, you will need to deviate from the road before you reach the comms tower. Comms tower is about halfway down the Delta Road to the Delta Mine. But because of the arrangement of like the coordinates that you have, position of the Delta Mine, if you want to take the most direct route, you will need to peel off the prepared industrial road into the snow, into the ice, into the tundra. Just before you reach it, maybe say like just under a mile before you reach it.
Well, they said from the reports of activity that Delta Mine hasn't really had any activity. So I don't think it'd be too dangerous to go kind of near it and maybe just have a look as we pass by, see if we can see anything.
Okay. So you, in that case, you continue on down the Delta Road until you reach the comms tower. You don't see any evidence of the near altercation you had with the arachnoids the night before, or the afternoon before, I guess. The terrain around here shifts pretty quick, and actually, Dex's intervention, you never really saw the results of. You know that there was something approaching and it stopped approaching, when he loosed off that shot, apparently a well-aimed shot. But there are no bodies. There's no physical evidence that you can see as you cruise past the comms tower that there. You don't see anything worth investigating. But I will give you really now you've reached the comms tower. If you go any further down this road, you will be adding time to your journey. And the only destination you're aware of at the end of this road is the Delta Mine. So it's kind of... Is there anything here you want to see? Or do? Or do you peel off now?
I say we stay on mission. We head to the lab.
Yeah, you guys have already checked out the comms tower, so...
Yeah.
Isn't
So anything, unless anything looks like immediately extremely different from when the three of us were there, I'd say, yeah, keep going.
Nothing is. Oh, sorry, Blaz.
I say we pull over and she just nips the top to have a look for us.
No.
Okay.
Climb the tower for a little bit.
I can't believe I fell for that.
Okay. Okay. So in that case, as you reach the comms tower, you give it a quick scope. There's no immediately obvious overt signs of change since the last time you guys were here. So at that point, you make the decision to pull off the prepared track and head out into the wilderness of Cryonis 3. You're now approximately 2 or so hours into your journey. You spent much of the day on your research. Then there was the meeting. Then there was the prepping the thing. It's getting late. And since you've arrived, in the 2 days since you've arrived, this moon is spending more and more time in darkness. You've clearly arrived at a point of seasonal change here on Cryonis 3, and sunset comes even earlier than it did yesterday. It's a small amount, but enough for a technologically set of advanced races such as yourselves to kind of go, huh, that's not the same sunset as yesterday. You peel off into the fairly rapidly dimming snows of Cryonis 3. Over the next... In fact, can you... Let me just make a number up here, and I say make a number up.
Headlights.
It has rudimentary floods. It's not really kind of built for wilderness exploration, but it certainly has light sources on the front. So you do have some visibility in front of you, even when it gets dark. Give me 2 seconds just to tot up a number that I need you to meet. 2 seconds. So it's 5 of you. It's going to be... Can everybody please give me a... Please give me a perception check. All 5 of you, and we're going to total it up.
21.
8.
15.
Hang on a second. I'm going to add this up. 21 plus 8 plus 15
20.
plus 20
24.
plus 24.
Ooh.
Okay. As you're travelling out into the night, now that you've departed from the road, the hum of the electronics and nanotech and the sound of the tracks against the road surface subsided somewhat. You've got the gentle crunch of the tracks on snow, the wind has died down somewhat. And now that as you turn your heading more southerly, you hear in the distance movement. It's hard to describe, or maybe it's a gentle rumble. Distant crunches and cracks of the. You can't quite tell whether it or not it's the sound of ice breaking up as the suns go down and the temperature shifts pretty dramatically, or whether it's something else. But you become really aware now of the alien sounds of this moon. It feels as though, even though it's like this lifeless wasteland, there's this certain kinetic energy to the place. And in fact, your perception rolls mean that you actually just make the decision to temporarily pause the progress of the ass through the tundra, and just try and get a gauge on what it is you're hearing. It's not worth rolling a live science roll. This is not something you've experienced before, but there is this background noise. You can't tell whether it's geological, biological, atmospheric, but there is a real sense of movement in the air. No physical outward signs, nothing you can kind of, certainly in the darkness. But since the sun went down, you can't tell. Was it the engines masking it before, or was it the sound of your progress masking it before? But it feels like it's intensified. Background noise of nowhere, but with nothing to focus in on, no outward signs of anything. You decide to push on. I mean, what else can you do? About an hour and a half later, it's getting really cold now, and in fact, I'm going to need a Constitution. Bear with me. Okay, I'm going to need a Fortitude saving throw from everybody with a DC of 15, please.
And Blair's rolled out with advantage.
Oh,
if
actually,
he goes.
Sorry, can I correct that? Can I have a survival roll from everybody with a DC of 15, with the exception of the people who are riding outside of the ass? So it's 15 for inside the ass. Why did I name it this?
You know why.
Yeah, I know, but like every now and again I want to be serious, and I can't get away from the name of this fucking vehicle now.
My cold resistance.
Fucking ass.
It says cold resistance 5. Does that mean I just get a +5 to any roll that's to do with cold?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and it's gonna be an 18 for anybody outside the vehicle.
what?
And Blair's rolled this with
roll did you say
advantage.
it was?
Did you say it was
If you
survival or
can
fortitude?
explain to me why you would roll it with advantage.
If he goes rooting around in his pack when he starts to get cold, and kind of ducks away for a little bit and comes back up wearing a slightly scorched but familiar piece of survival equipment.
Damn.
Wow.
She just looks at you and just shakes her head and rolls her eyes. She's not happy.
Morbid.
I won't give you advantage, but I'll give you a +2.
+2 it is.
Did you say it was fortitude, Jake, for us outside? or
Sorry, it's a
survival?
survival check. I apologise, I fucked that up. Survival check, please.
Mine's
Even
20.
Wait.
Survival
What?
check, +2 for Blaz, +5 for Clara. Standard 15 for she. 18 for the chaps sliding along outside the vehicle.
I got
19.
7.
Even with my +2, I only make 15, so I done goofed.
No, you meet it and beat it, so you're fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fine.
Face, sorry, you said?
7.
7, okay. Ormaganda,
20.
you're good. Clara?
27.
You're very good. You're toasty.
I've got my tail curled around me.
We should have wrapped Clara round face, like a reference to an
coat?
earlier episode,
Like
like
a
a
coat,
papoose.
yeah.
Like a
Not like a coat, like a papoose, like strapped to his front. With the tail just tied around it.
No, it would have been a piggyback. It would have been like, oh no, because that would have affected the wings.
Yeah.
Exactly, papoose. You know that's how it's gonna go, man. It's gotta be a papoose.
Okay, so Face, you are starting to really feel the effects of the cold now. Your ability to stay aloft. You've lost your ability to stay aloft. It's too fucking cold up there, man. You're getting blasted by the wind and the ice. It feels like your wings have become solid. You can't seem to manipulate your flight surfaces in the way that you're accustomed to. You're losing altitude fast. It's time to reel that thing in.
I'm reeling it in.
Okay. As you get to ground level, obviously, I would presume she stops the vehicle and is kind of like, "Whoa, big boy's landed."
Reluctantly stop the vehicle, thinking I knew this was going to happen. So,
How are you going to complete the journey?
Anyone want to fly?
how far are we away?
Yeah, how far out are we?
According to your PCUs, you've got. Hang on, you've got another 3/4 of an hour to an hour left.
That on foot.
That's at the speed you've been making so far. If you have to
How
abandon
long
the
would it
vehicle, it's
take,
longer. Especially out here in the
how long?
wilderness.
Has anyone got something that emits like a bright red light on them?
How
I
long would
can-
it take to walk?
Significantly longer. Sorry, Blaz. Go ahead.
I can make stuff glow red
Yeah.
with magic.
Ah.
If you can give my wings some red light therapy, just to like help them feel a little bit better.
Red light therapy.
Yes, it's a real thing.
It's not. It's not at all.
Oh, you sounded so convincing. I was like, wow, is this like a Dragonkin special ability? Like this red light just
Now,
walks him up.
if you wanted to put like an aviation flashing light that stopped other planes crashing into you while you were paragliding, I would allow it. But I'm sorry, token spell, I don't believe will warm you up unless I'm wrong about this, Blaz.
What could we do
I
to
can-
warm the big guy up?
I can warm things up, yeah.
It's not the heat that I need. It's just the red light.
No, I mean it fucking is the heat you need. I'm telling you that. You're cold, dude.
Yeah, and I know.
Can Bilaz just use his spells to warm him up though? And then
I'm the one that's cold. You don't need to tell me.
Yeah, I'll allow token spell to warm Face back up.
Alright then. I with
Make
a
it look like
flourish.
a red light so he thinks it's the colour of the light.
Yeah.
But it's actually the warm.
With a flourish, Blaz moves his hands and chants some meaningless bullshit that makes Face glow red. Also casts a token spell to actually warm him up at the same time, and his slightly damp clothing begins to steam.
Well played. That does give Face the ability to get aloft once more. It's taken about half an hour So you've been out here a little bit longer than you'd hoped, but you are once again rolling. You couldn't help but notice in that time you took a break, the mysterious sound continues. And you can't tell whether or not it's just the fact that you're even deeper into the wilderness, or perhaps with the quiet of the tundra, you're more focused in on it. But it feels closer. It feels more there.
Can I check to see if my staples are reacting in any way?
Oh, like if
Good
it's
thought,
magnetic.
actually.
That's a good idea.
You know what? The thing is, the part of me that's a fun GM was like, oh, okay. How might it They're not fucking around. They're staples, dude. No, they're not doing anything. They're sat in your
They're
pocket.
electromagnetic staples.
No!
Can Blaz
check.
detect anything?
You can check. You reach down your pocket. You go, still fucking staples, and we move on. Blaz.
I like where you were going with that, though, man.
I think that was a really clever idea.
Yeah.
I have a use for these staples, and I'm not taking the piss. I actually have a use for these staples. Didn't pan out.
It might take me a week to work out what those staples do. Yes, Blaz.
Blaz detect any change in the because it's an electromagnetic phenomena, right? And he's got some sparky spells about him. Has got a sparky staff. Any changes in what he's able to perceive?
No.
Has it affected
Alright,
any of our comms units or any equipment?
Everything's functioning as normally. Honestly, you start to question whether or not it's just the nerves of being out here. Whether or not it's just one of those things that sounds against silence seem louder. You can't be sure.
It's pretty unsettling.
You push ahead. Face goes aloft once more with newly toasty wings, ready for the next stretch. And it's only in a sort of 45 minutes or so, an hour or so, before you come to a kind of, not a cliff face, the ground becomes less flat, more broken. It's tiered. There are gullies and other such things. It becomes more topographical. But the directions that you receive take you directly to a small geodesic dome. You almost miss it at first. It's semi-submerged in snow. It's tiny. It's not a great big building. It's almost a 4-man tent. Hemispherical. The colour of the snow. You almost drive straight past it. But it is bang on the directions and the coordinates that you were given. And you can only assume that this is the lab of Dr. Helsig. What do you do, folks?
Carefully
Get out the
reading.
vehicle, take a look around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody real facing.
Pistol out,
Yeah.
flashlight on.
It's pitch
Kind
black.
of walk around the.
It's pitch black now. There's no light emanating from within the dome. There's a small hatch, semi-snowed over. It's clearly not been accessed for a while. But who can say? The weather patterns here move so quickly.
Being the one that's most resistant to the cold, I would like to go and try and clear that snow out of the way so that everyone else can get to the dome more easily.
Okay. You head up to the door and start digging away. Simultaneously
That was a
thinking,
very dog-like digging motion.
right? You make light work of the snow blocking the entrance. In the meantime, I can only imagine that Face is warming his little claws after spending so long being blasted by the Arctic winds, 30 feet above the surface. The door is clear. There appears to be no power or light emanating from the. It's a standalone structure. There's certainly no ducts or conduits running out here. Whatever was powering was inside must be contained within the structure. What do you do, folks?
Check if it's locked.
So you just trying the door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gun ready. Guns ready.
Or at least look to see if there's like a keypad or anything, because if it's supposed to be a secret lab and we just wiggle the doorknob, there could be like an alarm system.
Traps.
That's
Yeah,
a good
traps.
point. It could be BB traps or something. We
Was
need
there
to
anything-
check it out first.
Was there anything in any of the notes we had that might refer to that? Whether there's a keypad, password or anything? I'm guessing not.
Not in my data packet.
Yeah,
No.
not mine either.
So, who's taking the lead here, and what are you doing?
Buzz is
Yeah.
gonna scurry forward and try and gain access.
You try and gain access. I'll go in first once you've gained access.
Blaz, when you arrive,
Unless anybody else wants to go in first, then just
Blaz, when you arrive at the door, there's a very rudimentary keypad system. Not the high security systems that you've seen in the gunnery control areas or the server control. It's the rotary combination lock. Nothing that would challenge your skills.
Awesome.
It is protected. It is locked. But clearly, whoever installed this wasn't really anticipating anybody. It's one of those things where there's no one out here.
yeah, that's the main defense.
If you
right?
know what it is, where it is, you're in.
That's what I'm saying.
And
That's why I just wanted to check if it's locked or not.
so, Laz, after a moment or so, connecting his augments and PCU to the data pad, you get the optimistic confirmation chirp of an access pad overridden, and the hatch unlocks.
Nice.
I assume
You go, Ormy.
this place looks tiny. I assume most of it's probably underground.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know
Have a
what's
look
here, right?
inside. What's in there?
His
there any light?
accommodations were split into two levels that were quite small, so I think he might have just been a small person.
No, he's a Skittermander. He's little.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can just walk in or if there's if it is sort of more underground, there'd be a ladder. Like, you don't just want to walk in and kind of fall down on a hole.
Yep.
Just
We-
need
well,
to
I mean-
kind of have a look into the door
Well,
and see
I-
what's there.
To make things easier, Blaz is currently at the front. He's just unlocked the door. So I feel like Blaz probably gets to make the first call as to how to handle the door, because you're kind of,
Yep.
I guess, kind of queued up behind him. I'm just trying to think of like
Yeah.
how this plays
We'll
out.
call Blaz.
All right. Yep. Sod it. I'm cold. I'm going in.
Fair enough. You throw open the door. It creaks open. It's not been long enough for it to be rusted. These are futuristic alloys, but it's heavy and stiff. Clearly heavily insulated against the cold outside. as you crank open the hatch, there's nothing but darkness within. Just from the sound of opening the hatch, you get that kind of slapback echo that gives you that sort of innate sense of the size of the space. It doesn't, certainly from your ears senses, extend deep down into the ground. It does seem to be a fairly small, modest one Skittermander outpost. It's very dark inside, and there is no light from outside to illuminate it.
Can you light this up?
You get a little bit of the reflected light from the headlights of the ass, just glinting on the inside of the lab, and you can just through the murk make out what looks like some workbenches, computers. It's hard to see. But it kind of looks like what you would expect a one Skittermander lab to look like.
Are there any switches on the side? Any light switches on the inside of the door frame?
Currently, Blaz is still outside the door, so all he's getting is a little bit of glinted light off certain hard surfaces. His eyes are starting to adjust. He's turned away from the headlights, the ass, long enough for his ocular implants to start compensating for the low light, and he's starting to get a feel for the layout of the room. What do you do, Blaz?
Okay, Blaz is gonna cast Detect Magic.
Okay. No magic detected.
Alrighty.
It's magically cold, enough, as far as you can tell.
Good enough for me. He kind of ducks down and shuffles forward into the lab to try and get a better appreciation of what's in there. And takes off the mask.
Do you have any light sources? Are you using any light sources? I mean, I know that your PCU has basically a built-in phone torch, but I'm just trying to work out what you're, are you doing anything to try and see more clearly?
My token spell has already been cast to try and warm Face up and convince him that he was being warmed by a red light. So no, unfortunately not. I could probably
just the PCU
cast
torch then.
Yeah,
Okay.
I could probably cast some arcs of electricity, but it feels like a bit of an overkill for having a look around a lab.
Aren't your robot eyes just sort of like light stuff up?
They do not have that ability, no.
But for cool points, the dim LED-esque irises of Blaz's augments do cast a very dim blue glow over the lab. His PCU torch makes up the rest, and you flash it across the lab. It's a mess. There are papers strewn across the floor. A couple of the small desks are overturned. It clearly had power. In fact, there are kind of almost like crackling flashes of power running through a couple of the systems, occasionally just almost like super low-powered flash gun, just occasionally illuminating the space. To give you a sense of the shape of the room. But it is seemingly deserted. And not how you would have presumed Dr. Helsig to have left it.
Guys, there's nobody here.
I guess we should do a thorough search of the room.
Yeah, let's have a look around. Can you find a light switch?
I'm gonna go warm up in that ass because I don't think I'm gonna fit in there.
That's pretty astute,
Just
actually.
deliberate
Yeah,
phrasing.
it's pretty small in there. You would have to
Keep
you would have
your-
to really shrink down to kind of move around in there.
You can be our lookout as well.
Can I pull the ass
Just in
round and
case.
just shine the headlights inside the thing?
Yeah. Yeah, so you maneuver the ATV to point its headlights through the hatch. You've had to squeeze yourself inside. The cabin is a pretty uncomfortable fit for you, but you can get in. You throw some light on the situation. The hard shadows of the headlights from the ATV are suddenly cast over the interior of the lab, and you are faced with a whole array of similar notebooks to the ones you found in his residence. There are some computer stations. There are small containers with glinting specimens of something. There are... One thing does catch your eye. Even in the murk, it leaps out to all of you as soon as you step through the hatch. Anyone who steps through the hatch instantly sees this, which is a glass cabinet around the size of an aquarium with a dead, what you can only presume is an arachnoid drone, approximately 3 to 4 feet across. And it looks like if you took a spider and mashed it up with a piece of pyrite and a splintered ice cube. That's kind of the only way to describe it. It looks part mineral, part ice, part biological. And it is, as far as you can tell, deceased. And is contained within a clear acrylic-like cube. That's what you see. I know, Bailey. It's super tense, isn't it?
Shall we start?
He's very scared for us.
I think we need to do a sweep of the whole place because, okay, it's small,
Yeah.
but perhaps there is another level. We need to gather up all the notebooks. You said that it's messy, and so there are clearly signs for struggle. Is there any blood, Jay? Is there any indication that anyone got taken out here?
Your initial pass reveals you don't see any blood, but certainly Clara would know there are signs of a struggle.
Wait, why me? What, I mean, just because I'm a detective, or can
Yeah.
I smell blood?
No, you're a detective.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
you're very good at reading these things within a room.
Okay. Making sure there wasn't something else you were into.
And you'd been into his residence as well. You know that he's a kind of put together traditionalist. You saw his apartment.
Meticulous,
It's well looked after. It's well laid out. In fact, anything that doesn't sort of sit right in the feng shui of the room jumped out to you in his residence. So seeing the mess that is his lab rings alarm bells to you straight away.
It's also bringing back memories of, was it Michael's conspiracy theory den? And she's now like, kind of in the back of her mind, wondering how much of that was actually his mess. It's like, messy rooms, missing people.
Can we start looking at some of the notebooks, Jay?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys start going to work. Picking up anything you can find, inspecting anything you can find. Trying to get to the bottom of what his research was here, what he was doing out here. While you do that, Clara, with your attuned Vlakan sensors, those big furry ears of yours, you sense something. You can't even put your finger on what it is. It's not coming from any of the broken or deactivated equipment within the lab. You know that. It's hard to localize. But it's almost like a tingling. There's something that's making your fur stand on end.
Ooh.
As everyone else continues to scoop up notebooks and sift through the strewn contents of Dr. Helsig's lab, it starts to become something else. It starts to manifest as a sound, almost like a tinnitus, like a really high-pitched sine wave. No one else is reacting to this. You look around and everyone else is carrying on with their investigation. What are your thoughts?
Mainly, what the fuck is that?
Okay.
She's just kind of brushing her fur, trying to see if the static will like crackle away or if it's just going to immediately puff back up again.
Yeah. You kind of don't want to disturb the investigation. Everybody's so fixated on, like, we found the lab, like, they're scooping stuff up. It's a bit of a flurry of activity, really, for this kind of, like, weird little dome in the middle of nowhere and the tundra of an ice moon. But as the way it shifted from your first standing on end to then starting to become a perceptible sound, now it shifts again. Now it goes from being this thin tone just on the edge of your perceptible hearing. It feels like it almost like pitch shifts slowly down, becomes thicker, becomes more prominent. And now you're able to kind of, it's not just this feeling, it's a sound. It's something that you can kind of, you're pretty sure you can hear it now. Yeah, and you feel like you can localize it. It's coming from outside. It's not coming from within the lab. It feels like it's coming from back outside.
You guys hear that?
What?
You don't?
Can't hear anything.
No?
Keep search. I'm gonna. It's really, really annoying me. I'm gonna go find out where that's coming from and see if I can turn it off. And she's gonna walk outside and follow the sound.
As you
You shouldn't walk outside on your own.
Not by
in the
yourself,
dark.
mate.
I
one of us
see
needs to
her
go with
walk
you.
outside and jump out the ass.
yeah.
Yeah. Just what's up? Did you find anything?
Do you hear that sound?
Do I hear it?
No, you do not.
No, I do not.
It's so high. Look, am I still staticky?
Yeah. It's like a sensation. It's like you can't work out where the line between sensation and sound is. It's just something that you're.
Look on my fur. It's extra fluffy. That's not meant to do that. And I need to follow that sound and find out if I can turn it off. It's gonna drive me nuts.
Can I do some sort of like mysticism check?
Yeah.
just to see if there's anything weird going on.
Give me a mysticism check. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, here we go. My dice fell on the floor, so I'm gonna get a different one.
I feel like that dog in Home Alone 3. Just blowing the dog whistle and he's just...
It's a pretty apt description of the feeling.
I'm just like, oh, where's where noise coming from? What's
That
the
is
noise?
A 13.
A 13. Face, you've been rolling with Clara long enough to know that she doesn't do this. She doesn't get these feelings out of nowhere. And yet, as you take a moment, it's hard with the cold and the wind, and you focus on trying to detect anything that could be affecting her in a way you understand. But honestly, like, it just... You get nothing. You can't hear anything. You can't see anything. Like, you're not sensing any... You're not sensing anything. She just... Honestly, you start to question, like, what's going on with Clara? But...
If you want to find the source of this, then I'll come with you. You're not going on your own.
Okay, thank you. Sometimes having heightened senses is not the best thing in the world. And I really just need to turn whatever that is off.
Would doing a perception check help?
Clara, over the next couple of minutes, the sound seems to come down from kind of ESP, just the willies, down into auditory range. A kind of tinnitus-like whine. And over the next few minutes, it seems to become more and more and more tangible. Now it's a sound. Now it's a tone. It stops being a feeling and starts to become more and more and more and more localized. The bounced light from the headlights of the ATV reflected off the dome of the lab cast this flat aura of visible light over the immediate tundra and snow. And Clara keeps walking towards what feels now like the source of the sound. Face, looking out for your captain, you're in tow behind. You still can't hear anything. You've never seen her act this way. And you're getting... It's getting darker. You're getting further from the lab. You guys are so wrapped up in your search of the lab that you kind of... It's only a couple of minutes have passed. They're only outside. You're quite focused on the job at hand, which is what you came all this way out here for. Hours and hours of travel. And you don't detect anything. There's nothing... Aside from Clara acting a bit weird, there's nothing to alarm you about this situation apart from, hang on a second, missing scientist, ransacked office. What the fuck's going on? Meanwhile, Clara is walking further and further out into the dark.
As we get to the edge of, like, really where we can see, I just want to sort of stop Clara and ask, how close do you feel it is right now?
How close do I feel?
It's so difficult to localize. It's taken a few minutes for it to become a direction. You certainly don't know a distance. You just know you're starting to come to the realization it's that way.
Mm-hmm. She's just gonna kind of shrug and keep walking and just say, I don't know, but I hope it's not far. I really need to turn that off.
Well, I don't think we should go out into the dark without everyone with us.
Good call.
I
As
mean, if you want, I can breathe some fire in that direction and see if there's anything out there. But I don't think we should go out there by ourselves. And do the guys know where you? We should at least,
I told them I was going to follow the sound.
Okay, well, yeah, we definitely shouldn't follow it out into the darkness. That is a bad idea.
I think we assumed you were just going outside.
Do you breathe fire to illuminate the area, Face?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna. What?
Yeah.
Lara kind of like flinches away a little bit to make sure her fur doesn't get singed.
You're concerned about your friend, Face. You've not really seen her out like this before. It's kind of erratic. She's normally the stable one of the group. Let's be honest. So this is concerning.
First time I've been referred to as that ever.
You're welcome. Honestly, Face is difficult because you've been out in the ice cold for so long that actually summoning the flame is a challenge. You kind of have to sort of squat down and concentrate and channel your fiery breath. It takes a second, longer than you're used to.
Forward, dragon style.
Yeah, like it's a physical effort.
It is.
But
these guys won't understand.
You're really concerned about Clara. Take a deep breath in and project a 10-20 foot cone of flame from your impressive muzzle. And as you do, the area around the lab, you're probably, I would say, 100, 200 meters away from the lab now. You've lost the light of the lab, so you're out a bit. As the flame licks out from your snout, an area of approximately somewhere between 50 and 100 meters in a kind of 180 degree arc in front of you is lit up by the warm orange glow of your fiery breath. And you won't forget what you see in a hurry. The warm orange glow of your breath briefly illuminates this tableau of spindly, angular shapes and teeth and eyes and legs. You don't have long enough to take it in, but there is a blanket of drooling life in front of you. And the most terrifying thing about it is that as soon as the light of the flame comes, it's gone again. And you're back in darkness. But for a split second, like caught in an orange flashbulb, you saw a horrific sight. A wall of chitin and legs and danger. That sound you heard earlier, that kind of rumbling, that imperceptible kind of shifting, all of a sudden amplifies tenfold. It's like up until this point you'd been hearing it from a mile away, and now you're hearing it from 5 centimeters away. There's this wash of sound. You're still night blinded by the brightness of your own breath, both of you. but you feel physical movement in the ground as you try and regain your night vision. And in fact, the ground seems like it shifts underneath you. Clara, you feel a cold, damp something wrapping you up.
Oh no.
There's a split second and you're just unable to move. You still haven't regained any night vision. You can't see what's happening, but you feel paralyzed. Face, you feel a force on you that you don't fully understand. It's you can't move your wings, you can't move your claws or legs. You feel the ice cold of the snow envelop your body as you drop to prone, and you're stuck. You can't even yell out. And all that you can see is blackness. You just feel all these sensations at once, like a rushing sensation that removes your ability to react or move or yell out or do anything. One thing you do feel, though, Clara, is the sense of the ground giving way and a feeling of falling. And it goes on and on. It's like a dream. You lose sense of time.
I just fall down a rabbit hole.
In the lab, you guys are still busy engaged in your search. And all of a sudden there is a rushing, whooshing sound. You get a warm orange flash through the hatch that briefly illuminates everything you're doing, and it instantly snaps you out of your search. You charge out the hatch to see what's going on. You see nothing. Clara and Face are gone. It's pitch black, and you just hear a cacophonous rumble. You feel the ground shaking under your feet. And then it feels like almost as quickly as it started, it subsides. You run out into the darkness, desperate to find out what the fuck just happened. And as you get 100, maybe 200 yards out into the pitch black, you find Face locked in a kind of rigor mortis, coated in a kind of a strange white, fibrous, translucent sheet, stretched and pulled into strange kind of shapes across his body. His eyes are fucking wide open, and he's like this. He can't even respond. You see no sign of Clara, and you see a crevasse that must extend what looks like... There's no way to tell, it's too dark. But it's 100 yards across. It's a quarter mile wide. And Clara is nowhere to be seen. And the rumbling that you heard is still profound. It's super low frequency, like it feels like it's in resonance with the earth itself. And yet, you see no physical evidence of what's caused it. You see nothing but blackness ahead of you and below you. And you see no sign of your captain. She fucking gone.
That must be some strong stuff, because I am resistant to paralysis.
And that, folks, Happy New Year, everybody! That is the first Starfinder episode of 2023. You know I'm a sick fuck, so who knows what's happened to Clara. But I guess the only way to find out is to tune back in. On the next episode, which will be next Monday. We are going to have. There's going to be a few little sporadic breaks over the next few weeks because people are off and doing things and all the rest of it. But we will be back next Monday, and shit has gone down out in the wilderness.
Well, let's make some more shit go down.
Right? Exactly. That is the spirit, my friend.
My
We
brain
could
is between
reverse the shit that's
Wonderland.
already gone down.
I'm either in Wonderland or I'm at the center of the earth.
Can you stop being kidnapped?
No.
I feel like you
Really
feel
wish
like
I could.
you probably landed in some sort of web. I reckon they've got some shit down underground that is crazy, massive systems of webs and tunnels and shit. I'm sure.
That would make
Probably,
sense if
you know,
they're in the
like
mines.
cliche. There's always some sort of cliche spider episode of any sort of supernatural or fantasy.
Who are you
where
calling
they have
cliche?
No. I'm not calling it cliche. I'm saying there's always a cliche spider episode where they find them and they have to like rip the thing open, and it was just a second before it was too late to save them. I feel like that's gonna be us. I'm just gonna be
Hopefully
wet
not.
dying.
Well,
if
guys,
you've been cocooned, are we going to have to shave off your fur?
God, I hope not.
these are the questions. These are the questions that everyone wants answers to, and there's only one way to find out the answers to said questions. Keep tuning in to the Secret Lab with me, your host, Javen Fox, and my exciting band of intrepid adventurers. We're going to run the credits and say goodbye to YouTube. I promise I will catch up with all the YouTube episodes. I know I'm behind. I do have them all saved, apart from those two that I lost that shit. But we'll be back on YouTube. But yeah, you know, like, as I've said before, if you don't want to risk me losing the VODs, you need to tune in live. So come and join us on twitch.tv/Javen Fox every Monday night at 8 PM for more of this kind of malarkey. We're going to run the credits and then we'll have a little bit of a chin wag and work out who to raid tonight. So see you in a couple of minutes. And then Twitch folk, we're going to find a friend to go and support. So isn't that nice? Back in a mo! If I can remember. Yeah, that's the book.